Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Folks, hope you had a good weekend. We got a lot of stuff. To say this weekend was jam-packed, I think it's an understatement. Tom, if you want to turn off your phone, please. To say this weekend was busy would be an understatement. With the amount of things that's going on, with the stories, with Jerome Powell investigation. What is that all about? Well, right? Jerome Powell investigation. With Trump yesterday on Air Force One being asked about Iran, and one CNN person, I think, was asking, hey, do you think Iran takes your threat seriously? Can you imagine if somebody says to John Jones, hey, do you think the opponents still fear you if they fight you? You know, the guy's undefeated. Hey, Khabib, do you think people still fear you? President Trump, do you think Iran's taking your threat seriously? Maybe they forgot you killed Qasem Soleimani. Maybe they forgot some of that stuff. Nope, they're taking the threat seriously because of what some of the things that's going on behind closed doors. We'll talk about that. Ilhan Omar will cover that with Meet the Press. Apparently there's $1 million fraud restaurant that allegedly she's linked to. Mark Ruffalo, according to USA Today, used the word pedophile against Trump, which means there's another lawsuit coming out here soon.
Good.
The one story that's very interesting is the sonic weapons that they've been working on for 15 years, which this is apparently what they used in Venezuela. It severely incapacitates you. You don't know what's going on. You're throwing up. You're all over the place. And then they're able to come and do what they're doing, and they leave, okay, which we'll address here in a minute. Of course, with everything that's going on with Iran, we'll talk about the fog of war. Tesla Roadster's coming out with something that apparently some people are saying it can fly. You can put a $5,000 deposit right now to buy one. Trump wants $100 billion from oil companies. One of the guys said, listen, it's just Venezuela is too unstable and uninvestable right now. And then there's this debate with Grok nudity pictures, which Vinny's testing out a lot. Vinny's testing out a lot of these with himself. In the back, him and Humberto are showing me a picture of Vinny
Humberto,
on Grok.
Send me the one by myself.
Posting it. Maybe send it to Rob.
Send it to Rob, just me by myself.
Picture, just do it himself, not her. And I'm like, should this be there or should they not be there? I think Keir Starmer's trying to do sue.
Keir Starmer is
not
trying to
happy
sue them,
with
but
it.
oh well.
Maybe because the pictures didn't look good when they did it with them. Who knows? We'll talk about it. Heavy debate happened backstage when we were talking about what would happen if a friend of yours, 63 years old, very wealthy, wears nice suits, say he's extremely smart, say he, makes you better, like he, leaves you better than he found you. I'm just kind of making stuff up here. Like this person is extreme. He does a podcast anywhere you're at, okay? You could be in a church, it's quiet. He can start a podcast next to you, and everyone's being disrupted. Say this man comes and is now dating a new girl. At what age would you judge him if he was 63 years old?
Ooh. Is this what
it's an interesting topic we're going to go to later on. He just got all excited about it. Sergey Brin is also leaving, California for another place. He may be following his buddy to Florida. Colombia's Petro to visit White House in February. Trump is talking about capping credit card rates. Some people are not happy about it. Bill Ackman called them out. Bill Ackman blasts Trump on the limit to limit the credit cards interest rates for 1 year, says it's a mistake. We don't want to be Americans, says Greenland. Political parties, they want to stay, whatever they are. They definitely don't want to be Americans, what they're saying, but unfortunately, that's not how life works. Greenland parties say people want independence from Denmark and from the U.S. The Signal chat where Silicon Valley is plotting against California's billionaire tax. Then there's, of course, we have to talk about the ICE protesting that's taking place. Vinny wants to talk about what two coaches, Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers, said, ripping the ICE agents a new one. They were not happy about it, calling them racist. Steve Kerr had a lot of things to say about it. Stephen A. Smith responded to it. Jasmine Crockett responded to Stephen A. So did Don Lemon. Just a bunch of things that's going on over here. Stephen A. ripped Keith Olbermann, talking about the fact that he's walking around with a cane, asking if that cane is real. Like, is that a real cane you're walking around with? Anyway, just a lot of stuff. Iran kill switch to hide alleged crimes as death toll rises amid protests. I spoke to a few people this weekend in Iran, from Iran, and some are saying the number now is at around 4,000, and that is Saturday morning when I shot the video. The death toll, it's not looking good for Iranians. It's a travesty what's taking place, and the president looks like they're moving very and yesterday, Lindsey Graham is giving a speech at this event. I don't know if you guys saw this clip or not. In the middle of the speech, he says, I may need to step away because at any point we may be having to take action against Iran. Anyway, so that's that. And then we got a few other stories that we'll get into. The Dear Abby. Do you have that Dear Abby clip, Rob, from CNN where she says, well, why is it when President Obama deported 3 million people, we never saw this stuff on the news? It's like, why do you think? Because you didn't cover it. Do you understand what she's saying? That we deported 3 million, and it was so peaceful. People agreed to leave to a different place. Anyways, let me tell you what's going on and who the real MVP in America is the last 4 weeks, the last 3 weeks. You know who the real MVP in America is? That unfortunately, they will not get the credit. They will not be talked about. You will not know their names. You will not be able to give to their GoFundMe. You will not be able to do anything with those guys. You know who the real MVP the last few weeks has been in America? The Delta Force. The Delta Force. When I was in the Army, I asked my orders to be, I was going to go be 18 Delta, 5th group. I did all my interviews. I got my orders. I was going to re-enlist 6 years, go to DLI, go to SEER school, go to, airborne, go to Special Forces, and then I was going to go straight to Vicenza, Italy to be in that area. My friend ends up getting the orders. He ends up becoming Delta. The stuff you're hearing about on how they're going in Venezuela and how they got him, the reports that are coming out, unreal. And by the way, you know who's watching that very quickly? Khamenei and Iran better be watching very closely because our Delta Force is really strong. If they want to do something, they could get a lot of stuff done. So guess what is back? You know these USA hats that we had, these beautiful USA hats with the future looks bright on the side and the future looks bright on the bottom? These sell out within seconds when we launch these. If you haven't picked one of these up, you love America. There's never been a more important time, especially 250-year anniversary, to go wear this. This is the USA, the USA on the front, American flag on the side, future looks bright on the back, and then you got future looks bright here. You can go back on this link, Rob, if you can put it below. We also have the shirts to go with it. Go back on that page as well. It's right there. If you go, there's the shirts to go with it. There's the different kind of hats for women, for men. Go a little bit lower if you could, Rob. But if you haven't yet ordered one of these USA hats, buy one for yourself, for a friend, for a family member who loves America. Anybody who wears this with the USA being lifted, they love these hats. One of the fan favorites that we have. Click on a link below, order a few, give it away to your friends, colleagues, and employees. Having said that, let's get right into it. What story should we start off with? Rob, why don't we start off with the president yesterday on Air Force One? Yesterday, the president is on Air Force One, and you know his typical where he stands between the two areas and he's doing his interviews. He's being asked all these different questions, and it's 4 of them that I want to go through. One of them, Rob, if you want to start off with, you can talk about the talking, do you think Iran's taking your threats seriously? Can you imagine talking to a guy that previously took out their number 2 guy in Iran, Qasem Soleimani, and the reporter has the audacity to ask you if Iran's taking your threat seriously? Go ahead, Rob.
Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Wouldn't you say that they probably do at this point? After going through it for years with me, being hit, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the Iran nuclear threat wiped out, don't you think, and then you just had Venezuela, don't you think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question.
How do you ask a question like that? What can you do me a favor? Be the other side.
Okay.
Like, play the other side. Be a liberal. Be a person right now.
Do I have to color my hair and put on glasses and be LGBT?
Really
Tom, honestly, make the
best.
argument for a person that has this reputation to say, who just went and took out Maduro, okay, who just went, and he told him, I'm going to do this to you, who just went and took out, the stuff that he's done. Make the argument why that's a good question to ask.
I don't know if I can make the argument, but I can make the description. The liberals and the mainstream media, they don't take him seriously. They do not take Trump seriously. They use all sorts of words to describe him.
You think they
he's
still don't take
incapable-
him seriously?
Huh?
You think the liberal media still doesn't take him seriously?
No, I do not think CNN takes him seriously at all, because the only way you are able to ask that question is if you are deluded and not paying attention, not paying attention to all those facts that he put out, all those facts, or you just believe in your heart that he is incapable, shouldn't have been there, the election should have gone the other way. You just believe that. Denial is an incredibly powerful drug.
But again, this is CNN, Tommy. First of all, I would never even allow them on my airplane, number one.
Well, there's
number
a door
two,
they could step out.
No, I get it. But number two, it's Tom. They're not stupid. They know they take him serious, but anything to make him look weaker, anything to make him look non-presidential or, like I said, like weak or fragile. But he has the receipts. He's going in, he's doing surgical stuff to take out these people. CNN,
100%.
at the end of the day, Tom, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. And here's my question, though. Where do these questions come from? I don't think the reporters get to just go willy-nilly like how we are here with our stories and stuff like that. Who's given them the okay to say, okay, go in there and ask him this question?
Producer in their ear.
Exactly. So it's coming from headquarters, CNN, okay? Undermine the president, make him look weak, but guess what? You're messing with the freaking lion. Like he's going to give a damn.
It's only validating him, by the way.
Exactly.
Rob, play the next clip, Rob. Play the next clip.
There seem to be some people killed that aren't supposed to be killed.
This is
These are
Iran.
violent. If you call them leaders, I don't know if they're leaders or just they rule through violence. But we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination. Some of the protesters were killed through the stampeding. I mean, there's so many of them, and some were shot. We're getting a full report. I'm getting an hourly report, and we're going to make a determination.
By the way, the numbers right now is 11,000 protesters have been arrested. Okay? The number they're reporting is over 500 killed. That's now being reported by mainstream media. People on the streets are saying the number's around 4,000, if not even higher. And while this is taking place, probably the biggest thing in Iran that the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about is the following. Can you ask ChatGPT and just to see what reports come up? Do you know how many mosques in Iran have been burned down? Do you know how many mosques they're burning down? Iranians.
And why?
Well, because what they're saying is we're Persian, but we're not Islamists.
Wow.
They're burning down mosques because they're done with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Do you know what is one of the biggest countries of losing? Guys, can you turn off that ringtone on your phone? Do you know what is one of the biggest countries that's losing converts from Islam to Christianity? You know what it is? Iran's at the top of the list.
Really?
People are leaving. They're leaving and they're saying, I want a different life in Iran. FYI, the internet now, which, Tom, I'm going to go to the story and I'm coming straight to you. In Iran, the story you hear about is the kill switch. Iran flips the kill switch to hide alleged crimes as death toll rises amid protests. Okay, so the kill switch is what? The internet, okay?
Yes.
And electricity. Iranian regime triggered an internet kill switch in an apparent effort to hide alleged abuse by security forces. And as protests against it surged nationwide, a cybersecurity expert has claimed the blackout slashed internet access to a fraction of normal levels on the 13th day of the protests, as rights groups, including Amnesty International, accused the regime of using lethal forces against protesters. This is Iran's war against its own population using digital means. Okay, net blocks. CEO Alp Toker told Fox News Digital this was a piecemeal measure that eventually encompassed the entire country, with the government willing to use this kind of measure for an extended period of time. There would be an empty attempt by the regime to cover up the crimes that it may have committed, so this blackout could potentially last for days, if not for weeks. This group also reported that more than 2,300 people have been arrested and that demonstrations have spread to at least 180 cities nationwide. Most of those killed were protesters, the group said. Tom, thoughts?
In the history of dictators that have been overrun people, going back to Pol Pot in Vietnam, after the Pol Pot in Cambodia, Vietnam, the killing fields, turning off the media is the tool of the aggressor, and isolating the people from communication is the tool of the aggressor. We have seen it in other failed states. We saw it in Uganda, turning off phones under Idi Amin. There were so many things that people do to turn off the communications. And the reason they're turning this off, you were on Fox on Sunday, Pat, Sunday morning, and you talked about it, that there are people out there, credible people that had Starlink and other resources that are saying the number is higher. Look, what does the regime want? The regime wants to put the number lower. They want the world to say, hey, there were some protests. There have been some people here, but it's not a lot. We're letting them protest. They have their say, but that's it. However, the protesters are saying, no, that's not true. In certain areas, they are committing atrocities, they're committing slaughter, and the number is much higher. If the number is high and it gets out to the Western media, guess who responds? DJT 47 already said, you be careful. If you exercise undue force and you start killing these protesters, the U.S. stands ready to help. The USA stands ready to help was the quote. And so they can't have big numbers come out because the big guy is going to show up, because we see this as a protest of the people who are lawfully assembling in the streets and are just tired of the dark side of it.
You know who the internet is hurting the most? You know who the internet electricity is? The regime.
Yeah, of course.
The internet is destroying the regime because they need to make money. So guess what? I don't think it's going to be weeks.
Well,
I think they have to open it up here soon. And if they do or they don't, think about it from this standpoint. Imagine President Trump and his team. What do you think they're telling them? What do you think that call sounds like? Because he's saying, Rob, I don't know if you have the clip that says they're talking, they want to renegotiate. Do you have that one that, they have reached out to us, they're negotiating with us. They
changed the subject and said that.
Do you have that?
Yeah, they said, we're willing to talk about a nuclear deal and other things. Why are you changing the subject?
Yeah.
Why do you want to talk about a nuclear deal, change the subject? Really? You got some problems there, regime?
Is this it, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and play this clip. Watch this, folks.
Something really nice from Iran to engage diplomatically with you, or perhaps negotiate on their nuclear program.
With Iran?
Yeah, do you think they want to engage diplomatically with you?
Watch this.
They called
They called you? Is it still
yesterday.
an option? Is it still an option?
Iran called to negotiate. Yesterday, the leaders of Iran called. They want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States.
Can you share any details on that call?
Iran wants to negotiate. Yes.
Negotiate what?
We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting.
Right.
But a meeting is being set up. Iran called. They want to negotiate. Thank you very much.
Okay, so when and Adam, I'm going to come to you right now.
sir.
So when you think about that, here's what it comes down to. What do you think if the president is speaking to them? The best thing about what we have right now is the following. We want to buy this property, okay? Guy comes to me, makes a massive offer for this property, okay? And it's 2x what I bought it for. Why? He's trying to buy everything down here, the investor, because he wants to tear this place down and build high rises and units. Okay, now luckily I own it, so if I don't want to do it because, where I live, okay, so it could be. But if somebody wants to come buy this, what are they going to look at? Comps.
Of course.
Okay, what are the comps? Next door, bigger lot, newer property, sold for $4.8 million. Okay, this is worth whatever, $4.4 million, right? Hey, the guy next door just sold for $7.8 million, smaller lot, older property. This is worth $8.2 million. What is the best comp that Iranians have right now to know exactly, at least to get an idea of what the president is capable of doing? What is the best comp to Iran that we have right now? Venezuela. Okay, so what did they call and give Maduro as an option?
Turn yourself in.
Turn yourself in
with your
and
wife
get out
and leave. They
That's
gave
right.
him the heads up.
Did they give him that option?
100%.
Okay,
Yes.
so what did he do?
Several times.
He stayed.
He chose to
He
ignore
stayed.
them and get double down. Come for me.
But guess what, though? Because to him, he didn't want to lose face to walk out. Okay? He
Yes.
wanted to what? Come get me. By the way, in a way, respect.
Yep.
To be honest with you, respect. Come get me. All right. Do you think there's a likelihood that they've given that option to the Iranian regime as well?
Probably.
You think they have?
Probably.
Okay. That's probably one. Number two, what do you think the Iranian leaders are going to say? Khamenei, do you think they're going to turn themselves in?
Absolutely not.
No chance whatsoever.
No chance. Okay,
It's a
so that's
different mindset.
different mindset. Remember when I asked the president about the Iran situation, and I said, what do you do with Iran and what do you do with this? He says, your mind has to be what? Remember the word he used?
It was a swivel.
He says, you have to be ready to go any direction.
Yes.
It could be good for this. It could be different for this. Rob, do you remember that conversation when I was asking him if he can pull it up?
Got to be flexible.
It was a different word that he used. So, but it's flexible is what it means. To me, that's one option. What are the other options? Send Delta. What are the other options? Attack. What are the other options? So think about it. When you're watching this and he's saying, we're talking to them, but we may not have to wait till the negotiation takes place because we may need to, he pauses, was about to use a different word, and he says act, right? What do you think is going on here, Adam?
So for me, the signal through all the noise is that Iran has been humiliated in the last 2 years. You know, they've been a paper tiger and they've been exposed. The 12-day war in Israel, Israel won matter of factly. Israel took away all their proxies in 2 years. All that money they invested in all their proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, all gone, done, dissipated. Number two, all the money they've spent on the nuclear program. U.S., Trump comes in, boom, B-52 bombers, whatever they were, stealth, whatever you want to call it, it's gone. So they've been exposed and humiliated. So it's kind of like the guy that's like, oh yeah, bro, you want to go? Yeah, meet me outside, dude. Whatever you say, let's go. And you go outside with him and you knock him out. And now he's like, yeah, you want to go round two? And then you knock him out again. And at what point are your words just going to be completely hollow? How many speeches have we seen the Ayatollah say, the enemies will bow on their knees? Nobody's scared of you, buddy.
Yeah.
Everyone's clowning you at this point. You're an 85-year-old man that absolutely nobody fears, especially your enemies. Here's the biggest thing that I can tell you. This weekend I was watching movies. And I happened to watch with my girl this movie called Sleeping with the Enemy. You ever see this movie?
Old school.
Julia Roberts, she falls in love with this abusive control freak. There's a story here about Iran, and there's 3 phases of an abusive relationship. Number 1, there's attachment, love, emotion. You're not thinking clearly. You're ignoring logic. I don't know. There's something about him I love. Number 2, entrapment. He's got you now. Control. You're under his wings. You have to basically deviate your life. You're telling your friends certain things. You know, you recognize there's issues. He's controlling everything. All of a sudden you realize this isn't what I signed up for. And then number 3, eventually there's liberation. You're going to get caught. You're going to get beat. Just like the people of Iran are going to jail. How many people are losing their lives? Let's not let these people die in vain. And eventually she gets free. And eventually the storybook ending with the people of Iran, of Great Persia, they will eventually be free.
Vinny.
You know, and I know you guys know me. I've said this how many times. I'm not one of these like people that just wants to America, because I hate that we were put in the position of being the world's police. And Iraq, I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys, I don't want us poking our noses in other people's business if we don't have to. There is something happening in the world right now. It's like a global awakening. With Venezuela, it's happening. With Iran, it's happening. It's starting to spread. And by the way, this only comes, Pat, when you have an actual leader. And the left, I don't listen to all that noise. I love that you said signal versus noise. Again, Adam, I don't care about the noise. I don't care what the Cenk Uygur, whatever his name is. I don't care what the Harry Sisson say. These people are allergic to real leadership. You have a boss that's in there that's not playing games. He's not going to let China, and by the way, this weekend, China, Russia, and Iran were playing Navy games, Pat. They're all teaming up, and they want to show their force. But you have a boss that's in there right now that's not going to let our enemies, I don't like this word adversaries, you're not going to get close to us. You're not going to be setting up shop in Venezuela. And with Iran, I'm sorry, it's the people. I don't give a damn what anybody on the left says, Patrick. The people are fighting and they're dying for what they believe in. Okay, they're fighting, and good for them, and God bless them. And I love that the fact that you said that Christianity is on the rise. I know I said it last week where I'm like, maybe they need a Christian leader. Maybe they need something completely different, because if they go back to the old school and put another Khomeini in that's Islamist and all this, then all this work is for nothing. And Pat said something this weekend, Pat, that hit me. On Fox and Friends, Pat said, look at how God is lining up everything if you look at the signs. Donald Trump is a 47th president. It's taken them 47 years, and they're doing this. And guess how old this guy is who's from Iran? 47 years old. It's as if everything is lining up to do it, and it gives me hope. It's hope, and maybe, Tom, this spreads to like a North Korea where these people are under a dictator, Pat. I think it's an amazing thing, and I think what the president is doing is freaking awesome, and I'm with them 100%. Period.
I'm with you, and I think there's some things there that the American people are starting to understand that the American media is ignoring, because American media sees Islam as a race.
Yes.
And they say them Arabic people from the Middle East are Islam, and all Islam is Arabic, right? They have this weird thing because they want to put everything in a race box so that they have a victim box, and then in the victim box they have an advocacy. Right, because that's the way that they manage and manipulate voting groups. Yeah. And that's the way Minnesota, found out that the little pit bull they adopted and all the Somalis has grown up, and oh my gosh, it's quite a dog now. Yes. But the mainstream media doesn't understand the history of Iran. Mm-hmm. They are Persians.
Yes.
And they are rebelling against what they see as the violent Islamic, the IRC. Pat was trying to talk about it on Fox. I wish his segment had another 5 minutes.
Me too.
Because he could have laid it out, because Pat's an expert on Iran. And I was listening to this, and I'm like, they don't get it. They're trying to put all of these repressed people, and all these people that are protesting, they're trying to put them in a box, but they're fighting for freedom. That's against narrative.
Weird.
They're fighting against totalitarian control. Against control. They don't want to be manipulated by the government. So the American mainstream media doesn't know what box to put in these people that want their freedom in Iran. And it doesn't fit into the race, a culture victim box where they want to put everybody in a label. And so they don't cover it. And they're not covering the whole thing. They're actually covering for the regime. Who is a sympathizer for totalitarian fascism now?
Yeah.
The U.S. mainstream media.
Can I ask you a question? So I was doing some research. Maybe you can validate this. It says, I said, what percentage of the Iranian people are pro-regime, against the regime, and then neutral, right? According to these records, about 70 to 75% are against the regime.
Weird.
Pro is about 10 to 15%, and neutral 10 to 15%. Any way you want to cut it.
That sounds about right. Some would say higher against, but I think that's a reasonable number. There was a research that was done that I think the number I remember is, 80%. What is that showing, Rob?
89% of Iranians support democracy.
89%. Okay, yeah, that's why I said some people would say the number's higher.
Can I ask you another follow-up? Okay, so we're agreement on these numbers.
Yes.
So you're Christian, proudly Christian.
Yes.
What a lot of Americans don't understand is there's two major sects of Islam. There's Sunni and Shia, correct? Shiites, is predominantly based in Iran. And I think the vast majority of the population is Shia Muslim. As a Christian, what was life like for a Christian prior to 1979, before the Islamic Revolution? And you're talking about bringing a Christian as a leader. I don't know how that would work. I would assume they would want a Shiite leader. I don't know. Walk me through the religious component in Iran now.
What
it was before?
Oh, nobody cared.
Thank you.
You were like, nobody cared what you were. Nobody cared what you were. I mean, and even, Mohammed Reza Shah Pahlavi himself wasn't the most religious guy.
He was Muslim, though. He was Shiite Muslim.
He was Shia Muslim, but it's not what you have today and not what you're experiencing.
He wasn't an extremist.
Today. Not at all. People walked around regular, comfortable. Women had rights. Women had power. No 9-year-old marrying a 52-year-old man. That kind of stuff was illegal under the Shah. He brought education in. He did an amazing job. And the criticism they'll typically give him, they'll bring up Savak. They'll say, well, what about his secret police? What about a secret police called Savak? Well, what about CIA? What about MI6? What about Mossad? Well, what do you think you need to do if you're building a country to have an empire? You need to have people that are kind of giving you intel on what is taking place. And then post, not even the same. You couldn't walk around Christianity openly wearing a cross out. It was not the same thing post Khomeini. It was a complete different world post Khomeini. But let me kind of bring you to today on what is the difference between now than before. Here's the difference between now and before. Then, if you think about Do you think Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi independently came in and replaced Mossadegh, or do you think somebody intervened? Do you think the CIA, the MI6, intervened to bring a Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi to be the king of Iran, or you think he did it independently
There was
himself?
likely intervention from what we understand,
I would say
right?
95%.
Of course there's intervention. What did Mossadegh want to do with the oil? He wanted to make it nationalize it.
right?
Okay.
Like what he did in Venezuela.
Okay, so
With Chavez
there
and
like
Maduro.
of course, and
You told me about a treaty of 1954, which was
1954 consortium, oil agreement consortium.
it was almost
that
like
they
a
had.
constitution.
And it was a 25-year contract that they signed. But here's the thing with that. So think about it. Think about this whole intervention. They brought in the Shah. The Shah was a deal maker. He did deals, so oil companies were happy, and similar to what happened afterwards. Then when he became too powerful, he was talking about maybe raising prices. In an interview with Mike Wallace, he says, "Why are you raising prices on oil?" Can you pull up this clip? They're asking him, "Why are you raising prices on oil?" He says, "Why am I raising prices on oil?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Why are they raising prices on corn? Why are they raising prices on everything? You think what I'm buying right now is the same prices? They're raising price on everything with me. What am I supposed to do? Sit there and take all the increases on my end? But then they pay the same price for oil? No, I have a product you want." And by the way, I agree with them.
Good.
As a businessman, so imagine you sell lumber, I sell sheets, I sell whatever cement supply that you want. And I'm coming to you, you raise the prices on me 80%, not because the market's gone up 80%. You just choose to raise prices by 80%, but you expect me to charge you same price for oil. What do you think the guy? What do you think the person's going to do? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
No. The moment, now here's the part, the moment they realized he was about to strong arm other people with oil, that's when they said, we got to get rid of this guy. And then they thought Khomeini was going to be better than him. And then Carter, who you could say was a non-interventionist. So let me explain to you how this works. Intervened, Reza Shah Pahlavi comes in. Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi comes in. The Middle East is peaceful. Jimmy Carter, non-intervene, Khomeini comes in.
Weird.
So this debate between intervention and non-intervention, you know what it ends up being? Here's the part. It is never fluid. That's the word the president used. We are fluid when it comes down to decision-making. There is situations that you shouldn't intervene, and there are situations that you should intervene. By the way, what percentage of the time do you think you shouldn't intervene? What
Should not intervene?
Should not intervene.
90% of the time.
I think 95% of the
Stay
time.
out of it unless you absolutely have
95% of the time you should not intervene.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Now watch, if say Iran falls, Khomeini falls, somebody else goes in his place, and the place is peaceful. Do you think we have the war with Afghanistan? Do you think we have what happened with weapons? Do you think we have all this stuff that's going to be taking place? Probably not. Do you think it's going to be the same issues that is taking place with all these other places in the Middle East? Who does that benefit? So that's the part that is going on right now. Now bring it to today. Last 47 years. What is the biggest difference between the last 47 years and today? One thing. Last 47 years, the IRGC's been their control last 47 years. Khamenei, 47 years they've had control, right? Last 47 years. The number one draft pick to go back to Iran, to help Iran be free again is who? Reza Pahlavi, who I've been very critical of, and I'm going to continue to criticize this guy, even though I'm seeing play offense right now, which is good. I like what he's doing. He is playing offense. 47 years, he has been a number one candidate. So for 47 years, if it benefited him to say good things about Biden, he did. If it benefited him to say good things about Obama, he did. If it benefited him to say good things about Bush, he did. Now he's on TV saying, well, under Biden and Obama, this would never happen, but under Trump. And now he's pleading to Trump, which, by the way, it's better late than never. At least you're doing it, which is good. So the only difference is what? President Trump today is the guy. Finally, with enough of the pressure, this is one of the issues that you have to realize that happens in the Iranian community, which it becomes cult-like.
Yes.
Let me explain. Some of Reza Pahlavi's supporters, you know who they sound like? Let me tell you who they sound like. There was this guy that reacted and he said a couple things in a video. I got 50 videos sent my way.
Yeah.
Couple of the guys.
All weekend.
I mean, it's being sent to me my way. It's nonstop. Let me tell you, who got those videos? You know who got those videos in 2015, 2016? a guy named President Trump. Who did he get it from? People that were rhinos, people that were Republican traditional rhinos who were always, it's the Karl Rove way. It's the Bush way. You have to come get through me. And Trump's like, I don't need to get through you. Who the hell are you? I don't need your approval to go through RNC. I'm sorry, I made my own money. I don't need your help. You go begging people for money. I don't go around begging people for money. I'm my own man. Trump made it clear. He's his own man. And then you realize there's a cult on the Republican side with Rhino. There's a cult on the Democratic side. God forbid if you oppose Hillary Clinton on the Democratic side. You know who this is happening to on the Democratic side right now? Stephen A. Smith. Look what they're doing. God forbid you call out the black Democrats, which he's doing. Yep. What is happening to him? You're an Uncle Tom. You're a this. Michelle Obama's calling him out. Don Lemon called him out. Crockett called him out. All this weekend they're calling him out, right? So I think a little bit of pressure he's never had. He's never had an opponent. So he finally has some pressure. However, his last seven tweets, I don't know how many of them are directed to Trump.
Stephen A. Smith or Reza Pahlavi?
Reza Pahlavi, which, by the way, I love it. Good for him, because you know what he's starting to realize? You can't do it by yourself.
No.
Some Iranians who criticize, they're like, just leave us alone. We can do this.
Yeah, really?
We don't need anybody's help. No. You need Trump's help. Period.
Oh, my.
You need Trump's help. Stop acting like you don't need anybody's help. You definitely need Trump's help to go out there and pull this off. You need America's help. Without America and any of this stuff, it hasn't happened. I wish Reza Pahlavi would have met with the president 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. I hope he would have reached out.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. But I will tell you, it's better late than never. If he approaches to play a game, by the way, this whole thing that they're doing as well, I'm convinced a big part why Khamenei and Iran has shut down the internet, I'm also convinced they don't want to see the videos that are going viral here directing them what to do. I'm convinced they don't want to see that either. So the biggest difference on why I believe, if I rank it here, I'm ranking the most important people that are helping this regime take place if it becomes free again. Number one, who's a number one group of people that are helping this happen? The Iranian people in Iran. They're number one. Without them, nothing else matters. Yep. They're number one. You know who's a number two person that is helping this revolution possibly happen? It's the guy in the White House. You know who's number three? Most likely Delta Force. You know who's number four? I have Reza Pahlavi as number four. He's playing a role now these last 2 weeks. And then number five is the pressure to hurry up and go. Urgency to get it done. So, yes, but the biggest factor after the people is Trump. We've never had a guy like Trump that is getting behind it. The Iranian people are so glad that he's out there putting the thread, because these people in Iran are starting to feel the fear that something could possibly happen. There's a few places, if they were going to attack, that I would encourage them to be thinking about, but that's a whole different story. Anyways, Vinny, your thoughts?
I mean, like you said, step up and the urgency. It's like you have this opportunity, and I saw some of those videos of just angry Persian men wearing sunglasses in a car, yelling in a hot-ass car in California. Oh, we don't need you, and stay out. 47 years? What are you guys doing? Biding your time? Okay? The time is now. People are trying to get involved. For them to go after you, it's as if you're not from there, as if you didn't have to flee and go to a freaking refugee camp with your family, all the stuff that comes with it, all the trauma, all the everything. And by the way, and I get it. It comes with the territory, Pat. You're going to open your mouth. You care about the people as if you have some investment that you give a damn about. Your investment is the people. Your investment is Iran. Your investment is to be able to go on an airplane, fly where you were born, and not worry about getting your head chopped off because of stuff that you said about the freaking people that are in charge.
By the way, even the guy, the one guy called him the angry little elf. Even that guy that was upset saying what he was saying.
Yeah. Sweating in his car for no reason.
You know what I will tell you? I understand emotions. You know why? This is a very sensitive time.
For sure.
This is something that's important to you.
Yes.
Your entire life you've been waiting for this. You've dedicated your life to this. Intensity is so high. Emotions are so high. During the fog of war, Humberto was saying this in the back, You know the whole concept of fog of war? What does fog of war mean?
There's so much happening. You like things that are said are misconstrued. Bombings are happening. People are dying. It's so much is happening.
And speed.
It's a
the situation is changing with great
it's
speed.
It's a lot
and
of
you're only
confusion.
getting partial information, or you're getting obstructed information.
Confusion caused by the chaos of war or battle.
So much is happening.
With Iran right now, we are in the fog of war.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there are the people that have their own strong opinions and their loyalty. The people that, no matter what Reza Pahlavi does, he's never going to get their support.
Yes.
They're not supporters of him because they're like, you've took everybody's money. You've never had a job in your life. You call yourself a fighter pilot, but you've never been to war before. That's like saying I'm a boxer, but I've never been in a ring before. You think very highly of yourself. You've lived in America for 47, 48 years. Even you left before the war happened, the revolution happened in Iran. You have no place for this. That he's never going to win these guys over. Then there's the guys over here that no matter what, it's going to be what? Reza Pahlavi, he can't do anything wrong in their eyes.
Yes.
And then you have the different political factions in Iran that are doing their thing. Then you have the outside who could care less about Iran. Somebody that's living in America that's like, I'm America first, non-interventionist. Who gives a shit what's going on in Iran? That's the community as well. Then you got mainstream media that wants to report based on what they're being told. Then you got the small group of people in the 20% that are in the middle saying, honestly, what the hell is going on? Who do I trust? Who do I believe? They said that guy's part of this. They said this guy's part of that. The other day, like, oh, Patrick's part of Mujahideen. Mujahideen is MAK, who are, Islamist, communist, Marxist. Like, but here's the part, though. Even if 5% believes it, that's part of the fog of war. I am not worried about the fog of war. If we go right now the way we're going, the amount of pressure that's on Iran, on the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, something's going to break. Something's going to break. My long-term concern is a complete different thing, but I think you got a question.
I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
This whole concept of intervention or isolationism, right? I see people coming from Iran. We don't need anybody's help. We need to do this ourselves.
Yeah.
This is all us. And I'm like, okay, no help. Yeah, we don't want America intervening. Israel, stay out of this. Okay. So I was watching movies this week, and I actually watched your favorite movie, My Cousin Vinny. And there's a scene where, she's like, my biological clock is ticking
like this.
The reason that they're arguing is he's saying, stay out of my life. I don't need your help.
Are you picking these movies, or is she picking these movies?
Yeah, who's picking these movies?
At this
I'm
point,
picking
it's like
one, she's picking
she's
one.
very strategic.
I'm
I like
picking
her.
one.
Yeah.
She's picking
She's
one.
very
Exactly.
strategic.
One were the guys abusive.
Keep
Exactly.
going.
And then the other guy.
It's a beautiful weekend in Miami. You're
He
inside
says, we'll
watching
get
movies.
Sleeping
married.
with the enemy. It's like,
Exactly. This is what happens when you're in a relationship. You got to watch movies now.
I'm worried about this one.
So he says, stay out of it. We'll get married when I win my first case.
Yep.
And she's like, I'm watching you lose left and right. And she goes, imagine this. You go around solving all these cases, winning all these cases,
Yep.
and God forbid people help you along the way. Oh my God.
Yep.
Why are they so opposed to outside pressure, outside forces helping
I don't
them
think it's
get
everybody.
their freedom?
I think that's a very small percentage. I think
Please explain.
I think that's a very small percentage of people that are saying this. I have one basic rule. Call me out, but if you're respectful, I'll respond. One of the guys made a video, called me out, but he was so respectful, he DMs me respectfully. I respond back to him. It's one of the videos that went viral, by the way. I said, hey, I don't know who you are, but you seem very respectful. I'll tell you exactly what I told him in this message. I said, I don't know who you are, but I respect your approach. I said, matter of fact, I want you to read this, and I'm going to show you the guy's face, so when you respond, people know who you're, man, I got to find this. He sends this message, if I can really get to this message. Guys, the reason why I probably won't be able to get to the message, because I got 10,000 messages this week.
That's a pretty big time.
No.
Get on my
Let me
neck.
tell you what I mean by that. What
It's
I mean
number
by
806.
that,
Keep
guys,
scrolling.
this was a very rough weekend for Iran.
Yeah.
Rough and emotional weekend for Iran. So
No doubt.
I understand the emotions are very high. This guy sends me the message, and I respond back to him.
Want me to read it?
Yeah, I mean, you see all these
Yes, sir.
videos. You see the videos in the middle with him?
Yes, sir,
Okay,
yeah.
so now I want you to go and see my message
Okay.
to what he said. What did I say in the
one in the
message to him?
purple?
All the way in the bottom.
Yeah.
The red. Yeah, purple.
Should I say his name or no?
No, not his
Okay.
name. Just read it.
Hey, I don't know know you, but you sound respectful. I hope RP pulls this off. I wish you nothing but the very best. Thank you for your service.
Beautiful. So let me tell you what I mean by this. I get the emotions. I get it. I've been in fights. I've been in, when I'm building a company and I put all my money into it and I'm vested, like my entire life savings is tied to the company, it's emotional. This is very emotional to the Iranian people. But I'm going to bring you to the Americans who are not for intervening. I also understand their argument. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. So, how many projects can you manage at the same time, effectively?
3.
Okay.
Most people.
Now go to the best of the best of the best.
10.
How many projects can they manage effectively?
I mean,
okay.
Elon Musk, how many companies
5.
does he have?
Tom put 5, okay? Marco Rubio, how many projects can he manage effectively himself?
It's tough. I mean, more than 3 and
effectively,
5,
it's going to be
you're
hard.
spread thin.
Like he's
here's-
doing it,
You
but
better
like-
have good generals in place.
So let me get to the next story to see where I'm going with this. So the president's being asked about Venezuela, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's being asked about Venezuela, saying how long is this U.S. oversight going to last? And Tom, I'm going to come to you. New York Times. Trump says oversight of Venezuela could last for years. So what are they going to do? Are they going to be managing this Iran situation in Venezuela for years? Are you automatically assuming you're winning the next election? Is that what we're thinking? Because to me, this can't be a long-term strategy. There has to be something to be taking place next. So Trump says U.S.'s oversight of Venezuela could last for years. On Wednesday evening, he expected us to be there and extracting oil from its huge reserves for years and insisted that the interim government of the country, all former loyalists to the now imprisoned Nicolás Maduro, is giving us everything that we feel is necessary. Rob, you have the clip on this?
Yeah, this is actually audio of President Trump.
Go for it. Go ahead.
How long do you think you'll be running Venezuela?
Only time will tell.
Rob, can you raise the
3
audio?
months, 6 months, a year, longer?
I would say much longer. And we have to rebuild. You have to rebuild the country, and we will rebuild it in a very profitable way.
Okay, so Tom, your thoughts on this?
So the New York Times met with the president. I think they had 4. I think this was where they had end of last week. They had 4 reporters in the Oval Office, and he just went mano a mano with the New York Times, and they're trying to corner him. What they're trying to get him to say is, "Oh, we'll be out in 6 months," so that the New York Times can put that off to the side, and 6 months from now say, "You said you'd be out in 6 months. You said this would be over." It's a gotcha question, and the president merely said, "We will rebuild it in a profitable way. Profitable for us, for the investor, and good for the Venezuelan people." He's been very clear about it. And this was a broad interview of a lot of things going on in Venezuela. And he just said, I would say much longer, because they said 3 months, 6 months, a year longer. He says, I said much longer. Could that be 2 years? I don't know. But the president didn't want to be cornered. But the president wanted to be clear that our presence, maybe not our management, but our presence rebuilding and working with the oil companies would be longer. He's talking to the oil companies about making direct investment. And I can talk about this. Is that okay, Pat?
Sure.
He's talking to oil companies and saying, hey, make direct investment in Venezuela. They have heavy crude. There's different types of pipelines, different types of things we need to get. Let's make direct investment there. And the oil companies saying, well, I don't know if it's investable. The code word for that is, I want you, the I want you, the president, to guarantee that the American taxpayer will be, the backup if the loans go bad, like if things go crazy. So that's a little disingenuous by the oil companies because they invest internationally all the time. Why is Chevron the one oil company with giant investment in Venezuela? Because they thought it was investable and they've got an awful lot there.
Right.
And they thought it was more investable than the others did. So the whole thing with the New York Times is they were trying to corner him, but he was making a great point about the strategy. We're going to get oil companies to invest. That's to the benefit of the people. The oil companies will then pay for the oil they take out. That money will go to a working government, and we will be there during the rebuild. You have to remember, We didn't go in there and destroy all their power plants. We didn't do all that. During the regime of Chavez and Maduro, they turned off water plants in certain cities that still have no water right now. And the population had to move. And we see how far and how wide the Venezuelans went. You went and seen? There's like 2 million of them in Peru. There's 2 million of them in Argentina. These people that were educated went to other Latin countries. So the New York Times was trying to corner the president. But what we saw underneath was strategic leadership about what we're going to do to get Venezuela on its feet and get it rolling forward. But it's an open project that's going to get managed at the State Department level for a little while, including cautioning Americans over the weekend, hey, there are paramilitary groups that are still down there.
That's right.
We cut the head off the snake, but be careful. You may want to pull back a little bit and let it play out.
Yeah, that's right. That was a Guardian story. Here's the president, Rob, if you want to play this clip.
The plan is for them to spend, meaning our giant oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need government protection and need government security that when they spend all this money, it's going to be there so they get their money back and make a very nice return. The plan is for them to spend at least $100 billion to rebuild the capacity and the infrastructure necessary. Venezuela has also agreed that the United States will immediately begin refining and selling up to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan crude oil, which will continue indefinitely. We're all set to do it. We have the refining capacity was actually based very much on the Venezuelan oil, which is a heavy oil, very good oil, great oil. It's fantastic for certain things like asphalt roads. Best there is in the world for asphalt roads and other things. All of the companies here today are going to be treasured partners in bringing the nation of Venezuela back to life, restoring its economy and generating great wealth for their companies and for their people, and also great
Rob,
wealth
you
for the American.
have the clip of the individual saying it's uninvestable. So here's the clip that went viral. That was all over the place. Exxon CEO says Venezuela's uninvestable right now. Go ahead, Rob.
We first got into Venezuela back in the 1940s. We've had our assets seized there twice. And so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've historically seen here and what is currently the state. If we look at the legal and commercial constructs and frameworks in place today in Venezuela, today it's uninvestable.
Yeah, today.
Today it's uninvestable. Yeah, and by the way, twice seized their assets in Venezuela. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and do that again. I'm going to have to think about it twice so you're ready. So they need to make sure they build infrastructure before guys like him trust to go back and do business in Venezuela.
And Trump said protection, like you said. Protection's huge. And Ted, I can't get over, can you, seeing Trump sit there and just spit out everything that he's doing, the infrastructure, security, everything, comparing him to the last administration, it boggles my mind. The difference between a leader and somebody that was just taking orders and barely. Oh my goodness!
By the way, did you see when Rubio handed him a note?
A note, yeah.
And then he says, "Oh well, you'll make a lot of money. You'll make a lot of money." Did you hear what he was saying to the people?
He picks up the note from Rubio and it said, "Chevron wants to say something." He wasn't supposed to say it out loud.
Yeah, watch this. Go ahead. Yeah, he's great. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you. You'll make it back.
You'll make it back.
Other. You're all going to do very well.
He's talking to Chevron.
Doing very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron. Thank you, Marco.
I love he slaps him.
Mark, if you can update us on operations in the ground and with the appropriate approvals, what you might be able to achieve in the next 12 to 18 months, give us a little view from the ground.
You bet. So today, Chevron has 3,000 employees
Takes the note back.
Takes the note and folds it.
In Venezuela today. And over the past 5 to 7 years, they've taken production from about 40,000 barrels a day to 240.
So
funny.
Yeah, he is funny. But go ahead, Tom.
No, but there it is. What's Chevron saying? We've got 3,000 people there. We've gone from 40,000 to 240,000. Right now, the capacity for Venezuela is 1.7 to 1.8 million barrels a day. Everybody wants to invest to get up to 5 million barrels a day. And in Houston, on the Gulf Coast, is where we've got refineries that are built for heavy oil refining. Gee, almost like the world's largest supply of heavy oil was just across the water in Venezuela. Do you think they knew that when all this was being built?
Yeah,
Vinny?
weird. Yeah.
Of course they did. And Chevron is there and in place. So Chevron's point that there was, hey, we've got 3,000 people on the ground. You know who helps provide security for them? Chevron.
Weird.
Chevron's got private security down there, and they got 3,000 people, and they've been able to get up to 250,000 barrels a day out of there. So Chevron is politely saying, hey, with a little bit of support, we could do a lot more, and we're already there. Whereas Exxon is like, twice our stuff was seized. Tough to get my board to let us to go back in. We just need assurances. Look, you can see both are correct at the same time, but that's capitalism. Chevron found a way to take the risk, and Exxon got robbed twice, and now they're a little bit more reticent. But guess what? The free market is there. If Chevron wants to triple what they're doing with support, guess what? It's going to happen that way.
Adam.
But 47 has got them all sitting around the table and him saying, who would like to be the ones that come in here and be part of this? So Trump's showing the leadership.
Adam, go for it.
So you know what question I'm starting to ask more often? Whether it's Venezuela, whether it's what's going on in Iran, whether it's going on in Russia, is how does this affect China's attempt to be the number one economy and the number one world superpower? Because all these moves are downstream of how does this affect China? And I got to give a shout out to Glenn Beck, and I'll summarize what he said. He said the following: what they did in Venezuela is the most America first thing move ever. What? Why?
Yep.
Because this isn't isolationism. We're not getting intervening. This isn't intervention. This isn't we're getting involved in everything. This is complete strategy. Why? Because who buys all of Venezuela's oil? China buys up to 70 to 90%. Who does Iran sell 90% of their oil to? China. So what happens if this? Venezuela, no more oil to sell to China. Iran, no more oil to sell to China. They have how many billion people relying on this oil? Almost 2 billion people, whatever they have there. So now they don't have energy. They don't have power. They won't have AI dominance. So United States doesn't need more oil. I don't drive a car, but I see what gas prices are. They're cheaper than I've ever seen. We don't need more oil. We have a ton of oil here. We're preventing China from energizing their economy. So yes, this on the surface doesn't seem like America first, where Glenn Beck basically says this is completely America first because we're preventing China from world domination.
Yeah, the strong chokehold being put on China while this whole thing is taking place is a real thing. They're sitting around. Didn't they just have something that happened between the three of them, Tom? Didn't something happen with
exercises?
War exercises.
And besides,
they were doing Navy practice.
Yeah, show of force.
Right, this is it. The three of them. Watch this. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah.
This is a Navy exercise demonstrating how small they are, Tom.
With tugboats, with little baby tugboats.
Yeah, they're out there doing this naval exercise, and you compare it to the might of the 7th Fleet, and you're like, okay, so you're saying you're aligned and you're doing this little naval exercise. Okay, that's real. Those are real ships, real bombs, real cruise missiles, real, electronic class cruisers. We get it, but come on, guys, you're doing this right now.
Yep.
But
seriously?
But if you think about it.
Can I say one thing?
Yep.
One extra thing? You know how you said, Pat, who did you say had the best week ever? Best month ever?
Delta.
You know who might have had the worst month ever? China. Do you know what will happen in China if Venezuela, Iran basically crumble? You know, everything that they're working on with BRICS, follow the money, right? What's going to happen with BRICS basically dissipates? You know, the whole petrodollar, and they're trying to basically deviate from the dollar being the world's reserve currency. This is completely the worst month China might have ever had indirectly because of Trump's decision.
But if you think about it, though, let's not fall asleep. It's us against China, Russia, and Iran. So let's not. But by the way, because the last time Trump was against China and put all the trade, all the tariffs and everything, a little virus called COVID just so happened to slip out and decimated the world. Now that you have 3 of these people, I'm not trying to pump fear. Let's just know, though, who else is our ally? In this situation, it's America. We're by ourselves, and it's Russia, China, and Iran. And I mean, North Korea, Putin just met the other day with Kim Jong-un. I saw him coming off a plane. And
why do you say we're by ourselves?
Who else is gonna take our side? That's at that magnitude, Adam. Russia, China, and Iran with a little sprinkle of North Korea. It's us.
I've actually thought about this. And
I'm not saying we're scared. I'm saying we have the most nukes. And
America, luckily, has allies, and we might have little issues with Canada, with the UK, with France, with Australia. But at the end of the day, like if you look at the top 10 GDPs, top 50 GDPs in the world, with the exception of 3 to 5 of them, 90% of the top countries in the world are aligned with the U.S. Now, Trump challenges them. NATO, you're going to make you pay. What's going on with the wokeness? I get it. But at the end of the day, it's the world versus these Axis powers fighting for hegemony.
But we're talking about 2 of the biggest nuclear powers on the planet. And it's Russia and it's China. Do not get it twisted, though. I worked at a nuclear missile base. We got the nukes. Like, you know, Arby's, we got the meat. We have the nukes, but what I'm saying is, though, that them playing in the water isn't like a little game. That's them saying, hey, listen, this is us. We don't like what you're doing, which I don't give it. We're still going to do what we're going to do, but that's just something to you know.
Vinny, I just got to
they're responding to leadership.
I got very hungry after that comment.
They are responding. We can move on, but they're responding to leadership, and OPEC's remote member is Venezuela.
Yep.
It is effectively about to become under U.S. influence and control, which means that one comes out. So drill, baby, drill, plus Venezuela, plus the Panama Canal. You know who OPEC is now? We are.
Yeah.
Let me read this story. So U.S. used sonic weapon on Venezuelan troops. Reports shared by Levitt claims. By the way, this is not like Caroline Levitt retweeted this, Rob. I don't know if you have it or not. Do you have the clip on the bottom to play as well or no, Rob?
I do.
Or is it just the image?
Tweet, but this is the entire tweet. I'll zoom in.
Okay, can you zoom in, please, so we can read this? So this account from a Venezuelan security guard loyal to Nicolás Maduro is absolutely chilling, and it explains a lot about why the tone across Latin America suddenly changed. Security guard, on the afternoon, on the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything come in. We were on guard, but suddenly all our radar systems shut down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. So what happened next? How was the main attack? Security guard. After those drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but they were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. But those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we fought against before. And then the battle began? Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. And your weapons, did they help? No help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. And your comrades, did they manage to resist? Not at all. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear, I've never seen anything like it. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. So do you think the rest of the region should think twice before confronting the Americans? Without a doubt. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea that what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. Interviewer. And now that Trump has said Mexico is on the list, do you think this situation will change in Latin America? Definitely. Everyone is already talking about this, and no one wants to go through what we went through. Now everyone is thinking twice. What happened here is going to change a lot of things, not just in Venezuela, but throughout the region. So who retweeted this, Rob?
Caroline Levitt.
And who is this guy that's being interviewed? Who is this person?
He's a soldier in
security
Venezuela,
guard.
right?
Okay.
He's a security
He's a security guard.
Yeah.
Now, can you go to Snopes and look at below the tweet to see if there's any Grok questions credibility? Can we read that real quick? If you can do that, because I'm trying to. You know what this sounds like to me a little bit? Let me tell you what it sounds like. Respectfully, let me tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like go right there. Tell us about the plasma fusion population. This account is gripping. Does it mention U.S. American? What does it exist? Is this verified? Did somebody ask Grok if this is verified? I think the press secretary has some validity, especially from the White House. Go back, Grok, and see if anybody tagged Grok. No, Rob, go back to the tweet. Yeah, see if anybody tagged Grok to respond to it. And the reason why I'm asking this, because this sounds like, I'll just say it. I mean, if you want to create a narrative to put the fear in Mexico, Iran, and everybody else, it would have been written exactly like that. It almost sounds like the exchange between that transgender shooter with his furry boyfriend that he had,
still missing,
where it was perfectly written out.
Looking at the description there, the same thing happens to me when I watch A View. So it's.
Let me see this. Is this so? Let's read this. Pushes version of Maduro, Venezuela dealing with absolute resolve. Delta Force could jump from the nose, radars, helicopters. Yeah, this aligns with confirmed reports from sources like CSIS, booking Cyber Command, disruption of Venezuelan communication and power, while Space Force provided real-time guidance to neutralize Russian S-300 and Chinese JY-27A systems before they fired. The viral narrative fuels regional deterrence discussions, echoing Trump's Mexico warnings, but draws skepticism as potential propaganda amid unverified elements like the sonic wave cause. Okay, so do I think this technology exists? You know, we spoke to a Delta guy just this morning.
Oh, weird.
And you know what he said? He says they've been working on this for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And this actually exists. It's not like it doesn't exist. But do I also read this tweet in a way where it's a perfectly written FAFO, tweet?
Yeah.
Like if you want to, F around and find out? Yes, it reads that way as well. Vinny, your thoughts on this?
It's crazy. I shot a sketch because I was making fun of it. And Tom, it's so funny because I involved the View as well. This has been reported in 2016. Did you guys ever hear Havana Syndrome, Tom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
U.S. diplomats, intelligence officers, and military personnel and family members that were abroad overseas reported sudden neurological symptoms like head pressure, dizziness, vomiting, ringing of the ears, cognitive issues, falling to the floor, vomiting, throwing up. And the first cases appeared in Havana, Cuba, and later reports in China, Europe, and elsewhere. So, and again, Pat, what was it? I don't want to be that guy, but what was the bomb? The guy that created the bomb where America was like, well, we got to test it out, so we have to drop the bomb.
Einstein?
No, it wasn't Einstein. It was the bomb, like having a weapon and you
nuclear
don't get
bomb,
to use
the atom
it.
bomb?
Where was it? Hiroshima, Oppenheimer's bomb.
Yeah.
They're basically saying if you have it, you got to test it and you got to use it. So what better of an opportunity where you don't want to freaking do a mass casualty? You just send this freaking beam at people and they throw up and they vomit instead of killing, a bunch of people. So,
do I think the U.S. is using hypersonic weapons to destroy our enemy? Yeah, I do. Why wouldn't we? I mean, Rob, if you could pull up what the U.S. spends on defense every year, this is, I'm not even sure if these are updated figures, if you have that, Rob. We spend more than the next 10 countries combined. The type of stuff that we got, the world ain't ready for. So this random security guard in Venezuela who's throwing up, can't hear anything. Oh my God, do I think that happened to him? Yeah. I think there's going to be more stories like this. By the way, we in America today, we use things like this to dissipate crowds and get people to stop protesting and stop the chaos all the time. You ever been in a movie theater when the fire alarm goes off? You think you're going to stay watching the movie? I was at a nightclub once in Miami. Shocker, I know. These guys were fighting. People were like, what are we going to do? I'm there at the owner's table. He goes, that's it. I'm pulling the fire alarm. Wow. Everyone was like, get the hell out of here. So you don't have to fight people. You don't have to shoot people. Sometimes you can control all their senses.
This is a different.
And there's no fight back.
This is a different level we're talking about. Let me go to Tom because this was Tom's story. Tom, your thoughts?
So I'll tell you what's interesting about this. I believe this. And I believe this very, very, because the way to judge U.S. readiness is to read about the leaks and the information you can find on Chinese and Russian systems. And you can turn to Jane's. Jane's is like the Bible on this. Stuff gets leaked out all the time. China has been selling anti-stealth system called the JY-27. JY-27A, I believe it's called, if you look it up. And China has been selling that to everybody. They sold it to Pakistan, of all people, so they could use it in the northern provinces when they in India get into it. Because, you know, the Paks in India, they go to the north corner and they get into it now and then. And says, you want to dance, mother? Yeah, I'll dance. And they go out there. Guess what? It was the JY-27A that was being used in Venezuela all the way through it. And they have told the world that it's an anti-stealth radar system. Well, why was it that no SAMs were fired? We didn't lose any aircraft, SAMs, surface-to-air missiles. And that's the ones that are crazy. Oh, there it is, Pat. There's the description here. Yep, it's a very high-frequency radar. It's an active phase, blah, 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 blah. Sold to countries including, there it is, Venezuela and Pakistan, designed to provide long-range early warning to against fifth-generation jets like the F-22 and F-35 that both happen to be made by us that we give to, we gave some to Saudis, but we gave a lot of them to the Israelis. And so why do people want this? But guess what just happened? What just happened? This system didn't work. We walked into Venezuela, whether you believe every syllable of that text message, that tweet or not, we walked right in, shut down the radar, got in, got our guy and his wife, and left. And they shot arms fire, not missiles, SAMs, but arms fire at one helicopter was struck, but we left. You know what that means? That means this didn't work. So if the JY-27A didn't work, then I say to myself, why didn't it work? Because something badder prevented it from working. So I believe this. I believe in the sonic weapon. I also believe
in the weapon.
In what's going on here.
I believe in the weapon, but I also believe that that tweet, the way it was written,
could have been
was really directed to two people. Scheinbaum and Khamenei. That's it.
100%.
That's what I think that tweet was directed to only two people.
Agree. I agree with that.
And you got to give, you have to give the United States creativity, if it is real, which I do believe it's real. Did you guys know that, like, this isn't the first time? In the 90s, the United States Air Force, and Rob, you can look this up, was working on a gay bomb. And I'm not, full stop, I'm not trying to be funny.
Bro.
No, it's a psychochemical weapon that would, like, induce mutual, like, sexual attraction. I'm not even being funny. They worked on a gay bomb. Could you imagine that? Like, we're going to kill everybody. And the bomb goes off, and you're like, you know what?
But first, let's have a beer.
Something about your new haircut, Vinny.
Yeah, you look very good. Your beard.
Something about your
Think
face.
About that. Like, America's like, we don't want to kill you, but we'll make you gay.
One more button.
By the way, how do we know that didn't already take place in cities like LA and San Francisco and New York? It seems kind of gay bomb.
Well, they probably were testing it there and it leaked. But anyway, just giving you guys a heads up that we test everything. So.
Yeah, by the way, have you guys seen this young boy preacher guy?
Oh.
Rob, have you seen this? I'm going to send it to you. Just play it for the first 20. You said this gay bomb. It just kind of made me think about this.
He's a young, Adam, I guarantee you're going to laugh. He's a preacher. Pat, what do you think? From
and
Georgia?
He's gay?
I don't know if he's from Georgia or not. No.
He's probably from Macon, Georgia, kind of like Art Williams. He speaks like Art. From Macon, Georgia. Just do it.
Just do. He's like,
yeah,
hey, you can't be
Rob,
Christian.
By the way, you have, this is maybe.
Jake, you're going to laugh. Jake, did you show this to me? This is hilarious.
Yeah.
This is, this kid is a real deal. He's in church. Listen.
Watch this.
Adam.
You say that you're a Christian, right? Say that you're a Christian. I want you to listen to me good. You say you're a Christian, but you're gay. But you're gay. You married a woman, you married a man, but you say you're a Christian. Wait a minute, now that don't add up. I mean, go read Leviticus 18 and 22 and see what it says. Go read Romans 1, 26 through 27 and see what it says. Be careful who you let in the chamber of your marriage. I've had people to look at me and say, Mason, don't you know you got to have license to preach? Huh? License to preach. Don't need no license to preach. There ain't no other man can tell me how to preach. And I'm sorry. The Lord called me to preach and nobody else called me but the Lord. My mama
pause it right there.
He is going in and he goes crazy.
Wow.
He's funny. Well,
that boy good.
That boy good.
That boy real
he
talented.
Is, Macon, Georgia, whatever part you're in, you're doing great work.
Congratulations from evading that gay bomb, Vinny.
All right, so
Thank
let's
you, bro.
go to let's go to this here. This interesting story. Federal prosecutors open investigation into federal chair Powell. What?
Oh, boy.
Yep, they're going after Jerome Powell, which is stirring up a lot of conversation. Rob, is this him saying it that it's happening? Yep. Go ahead, Rob.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned, in part, a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law.
You.
But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum.
We get the idea what's happening. So, Tom, what's going on over here, Tom?
So what he did was the Fed chairman, Powell, was in front of Congress because to renovate a building, an individual building, suddenly the price tag was $2.5 billion. Now, when you look at the Department of Defense, once got caught paying $6,000 for a simple hammer.
Weird.
You know that when the government is paying for things, there's graft, there's kickbacks, there's all these allegations. I'm not saying that there was that on the Fed building, but all those allegations, usually when there's audits, really point bad. So last year, and the ad there it is. Federal Reserve blows $2.5 billion on Palace of Versailles headquarters. So they really got caught, Pat. This building is poorly managed.
This is embarrassing.
$2.5 billion, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So Powell was over there, said a couple things that in Congress turned out to be not perfectly correct, but no one, including the Congressional Committee, thought that Powell was out and out lying the way, say, Minneapolis level fraud lying. Mm-hmm. Well, Trump at the same time has been putting pressure on Powell, as has Fannie and Freddie, Bill Pulte has been pushing on Powell to lower interest rates to see if we could help the housing market a little bit or a little bit more. And Trump also wants to lower those rates for, Pat, U.S. debt is coming due, and it's going to be refinanced. He wants it refinanced at lower interest rates. So he wants the rates down. The Fed was saying no. Well, the Fed is now saying, okay, the federal investigators of doing this, and this is Powell saying, I think this is a little bit over the top considering what's going on at the Fed building, and I think they're using it to exert political pressure on me regarding interest rates. So it's not about me operating as the Fed. Suddenly, this is the president pushing politically because he didn't like my answer. And so now he's having people investigate the building. I think there's a little of both going on, Pat. Quite frankly, there is pressure on Powell to lower interest rates from the White House and from the Secretary Bessent. There are definitely pressure, but there also is, let's face it, yet again, the American taxpayer paying 20x what they should be paying for something. Mm-hmm. And so somebody needs to be, and if the head of the Fed, who's a political position, is managing a building project, the first thing I say is, wait a minute. You're not going to take a career policy guy and have him manage a building project. Mm-hmm. Pat and I have managed building projects. It takes the special people to hold developers' feet to the fire, keep your bids low, get your delivery dates, and not all those phone calls are going to be pleasant. Sometimes it really takes some arm wrestling. So if Jerome Powell is managing a renovation, it kind of doesn't surprise me that a policy wonk, ends up, with his what stuck in the shredder because the thing is out of control.
You got to know what it looks like to the average person. The average person who's looking at this, Tom, is saying, you're not lowering the rates, I'm coming after you. The average person sees it that way. Forget about the whole thing. You talk to the average person.
That's partly true here.
Yeah, so if you look at the average person is saying, screw Jerome Powell. All I care about is lower the rates. I want to refinance. And I get that. And that's 80-90% of America. But the other side, you can also sit there and say, flip the tables. And, if it happens the other way around and it's not a term that you're running and the president is Joe Biden doing this to Jerome Powell, what would you be saying? Would you be sitting there saying, I agree with him? Would you not agree with him? So you have to be fair and see optics. I don't know if this is. You just have to know, when is his time up, Rob? Isn't his time coming up in June?
In May of 2026. He's got 4 months.
It's coming up in the next 4 months. So I get it. I mean, for 4 months to do that, you don't want to just wait 4 more months to get this just wrapped up and move on. I don't know. Adam, if you got some thoughts on this, we'll go over.
Yeah, nobody's surprised to see Trump beefing with Jerome Powell. We've covered this multiple times. I kind of said it's like an East Coast, West Coast rap beef. They're out there throwing threads. Biggie versus Tupac. You go, Biggie versus Tupac. This is more like Tupac versus Sade. So the reality is we shouldn't have Jerome Powell speaking. The Fed doesn't speak unless there's some major problems usually, unless they're announcing some major announcement. Monetary policy via the Fed, they have two primary components. Setting the interest rate, which Trump is basically pissed about. Right now, the current Fed fund rate is around 3.5, 3, maybe 4 at the most. So the prime rate is around 6.5, 7. And then number two, unemployment. Unemployment is basically right where we need it to be, under 5%. I think around 4.5%. As much as I give Trump credit, and I've completely all in on the Trump MAGA 2.0 state of affairs in America, I don't like what he's doing with Powell. I think Powell has overall done a good job. Could he lower interest rates? Yeah. Should he? Maybe. But he's not going to jail. There's not going to get in trouble. The worst that's going to happen to him is exactly what he's dealing with, Trump's pressure and intimidation, and he has 4 more months until he can go retire.
Okay, so let's go to the next story. Anti-ICE protests are getting bigger and bigger everywhere. You saw this one story here from the Time. Anti-ICE protests spreading across the U.S. after the fatal shooting. Rob, if you got that clip, it's on page 10. Protesters took the streets of Minneapolis, Portland, and other cities on Saturday with more than 1,000 anti-ICE demonstrations planned across the U.S. over the weekend after the killing of Minneapolis woman Renee Nicole Goodbye, an immigration agent. Tens of thousands of march Saturday in Minneapolis, where protests and vigil gatherings have been ongoing for days since Good's death. Anger over her killing and the shooting of 2 Venezuelan immigrants outside of a hospital by border agents in Portland on Thursday quickly led to a call for nationwide protests. Organizers of the ICE Out for Good rally said the shootings demonstrate an alarming pattern of unchecked violence and abuse by federal government. Rob, if you got a clip, if you want to play it, is this it? Go for it,
This is
Rob.
a Colorado protest where they have the communist flag in the background.
Go ahead.
Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good!
Is that really a communist flag in the back?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. If that's a protest, guys, that's like 7 people chanting with a megaphone. You don't have, but there's protests going on.
This is Washington, D.C.
Let's see it.
Immigrants are welcome here!
Immigrants are welcome here. Is that what they're saying? So they only missed one thing.
Legal.
They wanted to say illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, immigrants are welcome. You guys needed to say illegal. Where is this at, Rob?
This is New York City. There's no audio for this one, but this is a crowd shot of
Is this a recent New York City one, Rob? Like
According to Grok, it was this past weekend.
So this was verified.
Yep.
That's a good amount of people there.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of people. That's in New York City. Okay, so that's something. Something's happening over there. Now, Mark Ruffalo, if you have that, he's the Incredible Hulk guy, right? If I'm not mistaken. He's the guy that went on and was being interviewed. He had a pin on, And according to USA Today, he used the word pedophile. Rob, if you want to play this. This is at what awards? Which awards?
Golden Globes.
Golden Globes. Go ahead, Rob.
Mark, what's the pin?
It's for Renee Nicole Good, who was murdered. We have a vice president who's lying about what's happening. We have we're in the middle of a war with Venezuela that we illegally invaded. He's telling the world that international law doesn't matter to him. The only thing that matters to him is his own morality. But the guy is a convicted felon or convicted rapist. He's a pedophile.
Look at that.
He's the worst human being. If we're relying on this guy's morality for the most powerful country in the world, then we're all in a lot of trouble. So this is for her. This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. I know I'm one of them. I love this country, and what I'm seeing here happening is not America. It's just not.
Mark, why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
Listen, I want to pretend like this is, I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe
Pause it right there.
nomination.
Okay. Vinny, I'm going to come to you with this one here. What's going on here?
Well, first and foremost, I hope if anybody's watching this, show that to the President of the United States, another person calling him a convicted rapist and all that stuff, and I hope that these people are held liable to what they're for the words that come out of their mouth. This, again, these people will never change their tune. I think it's woke white men like this, Pat, that create white liberal women because the men are soft and they don't check them and put them in their place. That's me personally. Everything that's happening, all those protests, those are not organic. I can't get 3 of my friends to go hang out and go have a freaking coffee at a diner on the weekend. You mean to tell me, I'm not even being funny, you mean to tell me that's organic?
No.
That's not paid for. I've seen all the posts online, Pat. They're getting paid for it. The majority of them don't know what they're doing. If I had to put money on Kalshi, and I'm pretty sure they can have that on there, if George Soros is somehow connected to all these people that have no idea what's going on, but it's hard to blame the dumb ones because they've been told for how long that these people are Gestapo, they're out to get them, they're secret police. Because let's not get it twisted. And Rob, I sent you some clips of Obama. Obama deported 5 million people, Tommy. He did by the way, ICE agents were doing exactly what these people are doing right now, these federal agents. But you know what? Nobody said anything because ABC, CBS, MSNBC didn't show any of it.
Is this it?
Can you play, Rob, is this the one clip?
I have 2 of them.
Play it. Go ahead, Pat, check this out.
Broken the law. You didn't come here the way you were supposed to. So this is not going to be a free ride.
Oh, weird.
What's going to happen is you are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally.
That means leave.
I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration. But they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it.
Weird.
You've broken the law.
Okay. Pause it right there. Now,
go ahead, Pat.
Push.
Oh, because the ridiculousness of, because think about it. Think about this. What does the left stand for? What do they have? No policy, nothing. Pat, think about it. Mamdani's their guy. This socialist movement, communists, having a freaking lawyer that represents terrorists. This is the party now. This is where they've shifted because they have nothing. And just a little fun fact. Do you guys know, speaking of Minnesota, who was the last white woman killed in Minnesota? Anybody want to take a jab?
She was the politician you're
Justine Diamond. Okay, this is back in 2017. Do you know who her killer was? Mohammed Noor, the first Somali police officer in the United States. Guess what happens? She calls 911 because she thought someone was being assaulted near her home. She walked outside in her pajamas, unarmed, asking for help. She approached his squad car, and he shot her through the driver's side window. He was convicted of third-degree murder, manslaughter, and sentenced to 12.5 years. But in 2021, Minnesota Supreme Court overturned the conviction, and his sentence was reduced. And in 2022, he walked free. Okay? No riots, no marches, no Steve Kerr or Doc Rivers talking crap. No leader saying anything, okay?
Did LeBron wear a hoodie and bow under the basket?
The hypocrisy.
But somebody got shot. He didn't wear a hoodie?
By a Somali guy, okay? And it's crazy. It's
That's
wild
weird.
to me, guys, which white women the left cares for. They don't care about the white women that were raped and murdered during the Biden administration by illegals around the country. They don't care about the white woman, Pat, that was set on fire in New York and died in front of everybody by an illegal. They don't care about who was the girl, the Ukrainian American that was sitting on the train, stabbed in her neck. They don't give a damn, okay? And if you think about it, Tom, if the white girl, what's her name? Be Good, whatever the whole, Renee Good, if she drove over the ICE agent and killed him, they would be celebrating in the streets like they did with Charlie Kirk, okay? That they probably started GoFundMe to get her out of jail.
And that certain of them celebrated Luigi Mangione.
100%. So, Pat, and I want to point one last thing. It's so blatantly obvious, and I know the majority of us and the people understand this is all performative art. It's all art, and the majority of these people are white liberal women that are bored. Guys, think about it. These women wake up, they have nothing to do. They wake up and like, oh, should I do the organic creamer or should I go non-fat? When you don't have nothing to stand for, you latch on to other people's problems, Pat. BLM, LGBTQ, Ukraine, flag this, flag that. And just a really quick heads up, Rob, could you show the list of ICE, individuals that ICE arrested this past couple weeks in Minnesota, Sanctuary State, Minnesota. Yeah. Pat, look at these photos. I'm not going to say the names because it's too much, but these guys were convicted of sodomy of a boy, strong-arm sodomy of a girl. They were deportation order 2018. Another one, sexual assault, sodomy of an underage 13-year-old girl, and procuring child prostitution, deportation order 2006. The list keeps going. Strong-arm rape, convicted of rape, child rape. The list keeps going. They're acting as if these people are just going into freaking stores and grabbing mom and dads. And I'm sorry, guys, when these people are in a sanctuary city and ICE are doing their job, I applaud it. I want double up on it, okay? And if you're dumb enough to listen to the rhetoric by your governor and you try to drive over an ICE agent, that's what's going to happen to you. Because this is what's happening. None of you guys said anything to Obama, so shut your asses up now. That's all I got to say about that.
Let me show this. Let me show this, Rob. Do you have the Dear Abby clip that's saying how come when under Obama people were being deported, it wasn't as televised, it wasn't as much news. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Rob?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, there's a clip of Abby from CNN. This was just asked recently. Is that the one?
No, that's from May.
Okay. Well, I thought we had it earlier. So, okay. Well, then, Rob, before you look for that, do me a favor. I'll look for it and I'll send it to you. Go to Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers. So this is Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers, two NBA coaches, and NBA known for having lost a lot of viewers over the years. They are barely starting to get some momentum back of people finally showing back up. And guess what Doc Rivers and Steve Kerr want to do? Jeez. They want to kill those viewers again. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I'm glad that the Timberwolves, recognized, her life and the tragic nature of her death. And it's shameful, really, that in our country we can have law enforcement officers who commit murder and seemingly get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when there's video and witnesses who have all come out and disputed what the government is saying. So very demoralizing, devastating to lose, anyone's life, especially in that matter. So it's terribly sad for her family.
Pause this and go to Doc Rivers. So that's him, and this is Doc Rivers. Go ahead.
You know, what happened in Minnesota was a straight-up murder, in my opinion, and it's awful. This lady was probably trying to go home, and she didn't make it home, and that's really sad. So the whole ICE thing it's a travesty. It's clearly, to me, we're attacking brown people.
What?
And I just happen to be brown.
Pride, please.
And I don't think it should just be brown people who are upset at this. I think we all have to be. I don't care what side of the state you are on politically.
not following the story.
I don't think he's fully spun up on the story, and I think he's attempting.
Of course.
He has no idea what he's talking about.
I'm not going to get into the race stuff. I will. And it's just wrong, and we have to do
You can
something.
pause it right there. Adam, go ahead.
Oh, well, clearly Doc Rivers has no idea what he's talking about. And let me just go one by one here. So this, to me, what they're doing with ICE right now is the exact equivalent of what they tried to do in 2020 when they tried to defund the police. And then people came to their senses and be like, what do you mean no police?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? So for the people out there, and it's the vast majority of people who don't know what ICE's role is, they are the immigration police. Their job, ICE, immigration and customs enforcement. They're enforcing the law. If you don't like the law, go ahead and change it. Now, if I'm just the average person out there and I'm not following politics and I see on the news, woman shot in her car in the face by police, I totally understand why you would have a emotional, just disgusted reaction. I hear you. Look at what Doc Rivers just did. Well, you know, in my opinion, it's just straight up murder, he says. And here's this woman who was just on her way home and they're attacking black and brown people. Hey, Doc, and I know your son, Austin, maybe you pay attention for a second. She was a white lady obstructing ICE from doing their job.
Yep.
So if you're going to make comments, at least know what you're talking about. Because it's perfectly okay, Doc Rivers, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, who's no longer coaching, to be like, listen, tragedy what happened, but I stay out of politics and move on. If you're getting your politics from Doc Rivers, you probably are going to be uninformed. By the way, Doc, your Milwaukee Bucks are barely in the playoffs at this point. Focus on Giannis, who's arguably the greatest player in the league, other than Jokic. Focus on your team maybe winning a game or two and making the playoffs. Don't worry about politics. Stay in your lane, buddy. You know, they say shut up and dribble. Shut up and coach. That's my opinion.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with shut up and coach or any of that stuff, because this is America. You can speak and give your thoughts. I don't have a problem with you speaking. Let me tell you what is dangerous is when you're saying something that you haven't done a research
lick
on.
of research.
Yeah, and you're not empowering what makes the arena safe. Who makes the arena safe?
Police.
Security, cops, all of those guys. Not an easy job. It's not an easy job to have and to go through. But I'm wondering if I'm Adam Silver, what am I doing if I'm Adam Silver? You know, Adam Silver's going to get judged like a Roger Goodell. You're going to get judged by what the product of the company is going to be, what new markets we get into. I don't know if Adam Silver is the right guy for the job. I'm sure, you know, he worked under David Stern for many years, so David Stern appointed him. I think he gave him the job. But we'll see what's going to happen. Let me go to this. Here's Abby from CNN. It's a 13-second clip. Look what she questions, what she says. And then you tell me how you would respond to what Abby says here. Go ahead, Rob.
Obama was able to deport millions of people in this country. And I don't recall ever seeing things like that unfolding in suburban neighborhoods across the country. And you have to wonder why.
You can pause it right there. You know why, Abby? Maybe because you guys didn't cover it. It's that simple. You guys didn't cover it. You didn't have to cover it. I mean, what do you mean, why? Anything Obama did, he did right. So you wouldn't sit there and criticize him and say, no, can't believe you did this. Why are you going to go document that? Why are you going to go show what's really taking? How do you think Obama deported people? By the way, let's play this out to all the people that support Obama. Do you think Obama went like this? His ICE agents. Hey, yes, Jose, Maria, you guys got to go back to Mexico. Oh, thank you so much for allowing us to go back to our country that we escaped from. Because Obama is so sweet and amazing, so gentle, we're going to go back. You know what? Here, arrest us. Matter of fact, screw it. We committed a crime. Take us back. You think that's what happened? What do you think the way ICE is going to do it? How do you think you do it? There's no other way of doing it but it being nasty. You think out of the 3 million people or whatever the number is he deported?
5 million.
let's say it's 5 million. Out of the 3 to 5 million people who deported, how many of them went back willingly? How many of them were like, it is a badge of honor to be able to tell my grandkids one day that Barack Obama asked me to go back to Mexico, and if it's Barack Obama, I'm going to follow the rules. That's why. Or do you think it was nasty like a sausage factory, but you just refused to report on it? Here, by the way, check this out while this is going on. Laura Ingraham is in the streets, and she's going around asking people, ICE protests, do you have a job? Why don't you go do a job? Have a job. And look what one person says when she asked them the question, do you have a job? Watch this.
Shame! Shame!
Do you have a job? Do you have a job?
Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame!
Yeah.
That's all she wanted.
I'm getting paid right now. I'm getting paid right now.
She doesn't even realize what just happened. A simple question. Do you have a job? I'm getting paid right now. Who's paying her?
Yeah.
Who do you think is paying her? Is it one of those Soros things? Who's paying her? Who's giving her the money to go out there and do
but
this?
Actually, Pat, Rob has something. Rob, don't you have that thing that I showed you that this was circulating around? Adam, you saw this?
What's
like
that?
These little documents that were out that were spreading, Rob. I think you showed it. Not that one. That little document underneath where Nick Shirley posted. Can you zoom in on that, Rob? Point of contact. Do not name this individual any comms or in the person. This does not leave this document. The disbursement of funds will occur in 3 stages. Initial disbursement or funds prior to action. If you not already received disbursement, please reach out to the designated point of contact. Typically, this will constitute 5 to 10% of the negotiated amount. ETA 1 or 2 weeks prior to action. This is for the protesters. Immediately follow debrief. AOEC representatives will direct you on where you can expect to see the next stage of funding disbursement. Typically, this will constitute 20 to 30% of the negotiated amount. ETA 28 to 48 hours following action. And then final disbursement of funds will come at some point in the future. A timeline will be determined by AOEC representatives. Your contract and further possible amendments from the AOC agitators. I don't even know how this. What that
agitating orgs.
Oh, agitators.
And what did this agitate towards?
This is a constitute a remainder of the negotiated amount. And look at that. They're paying them this type of money, final disbursement. So it's not organic. These people are going to get paid to show up.
Some of these protesters are getting ripped off because they think they're going to get some amount. We'll give you 5% here and 20% here. And we'll provide the following will be sometime after action. You know what that means? Get on camera, make a fool, get some things out there. And they're probably not going to get fully paid. Well, what are you going to do? Get a lawyer and go to court and say, hey, this guy
I was protesting.
Hey, Mr. Bet David, you get him a neck from one of these guys. I was supposed to have been paid as an agitator. They didn't give me the last 40%. Should I get a lawyer?
That's funny.
Well, can I make a comment or two on this? So ICE and the FBI and the CIA, this message is for you. There's a guy named Neville Roy Singham. You ever heard this name?
Yes.
The guy.
Yes.
Please look into this man.
Oh, they
this
are.
This billionaire turned Marxist who apparently lives in China is funding all these operations. And I think they're based out of New York, I want to say. Him and his wife, let me give her a shout out. Jody Evans, respect to you. She started something called the People's Forum. So when you see all these protests pop up like this, these are those people. Allow me to make one other point. You said, why don't these things happen under Obama? Well, he did it without advertising this. You might want to say that Trump made a mistake by advertising this, or you might give him credit because that's what people voted for. Also, what didn't it really fully exist when Barack Obama was the president? Social media was not where it was today, certainly X. Independent journalists, Nick Shirley's, James O'Keefe, they weren't as prominent as they were today, completely necessary. And then this is pre-COVID, in a world where you could just be blue pill and not question the government or anything. And then since COVID, people are like, yeah, I don't know what's going on around here, bro. But I want to give one story about a person that you'll know, and I'm so proud of him, the way he operates. So you remember when we were in Boca, you met my friend T, the black guy? We had dinner at the Yard House. And
28 points in a game.
Exactly.
Yes, I remember him.
Amazing. So he says, bro, what the F is going on in this world? I have all my friends from other countries, because he's from Trinidad, basically saying, what the hell's going on in America? They're saying that America's done. It's very sad to hear this. What can you share with me? And I said, hey, brother, how many people and what countries are we talking about? He goes, well, obviously for me, it's a lot of Caribbean guys, Trini, Jamaicans. I even got it from my Canadian sister. I said, how many of them would leave their country right now and move to the U.S. if they can get U.S. citizenship? He goes, great point. Every single one of them that I've debated with and argued with and spoken with would leave their country right now and drop everything and move to America in a heartbeat. So be very careful the assumptions and the logic that you're going down, this path you're going down, because all these haters of America would drop everything and move here in a second.
And I just want, Pat, I just want everybody to understand, guys, all this noise, all this crazy noise, and I don't think they are. I mean, I think that they're staying focused. Even Scott Bassett makes some comments. Let's not forget about the billions of dollars of fraud from Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and Jacob Frey's freaking Minnesota. Don't let, guys, all this, Ilhan Pat's on top of trucks and doing all that little fog of war that you guys are trying to do, you guys, the hammer's coming down on them. Was this Scott Bassett talking about it, Rob? He's like, whoa, we're going after everybody, right? We're not stopping. He's holding everybody. You want to play this?
This is an outrage. President Trump is outraged. I'm outraged. The whole administration is outraged. And we are here to follow the money because that's what Treasury does. We have done that for years. We did it with the mafia. We have done it with the cartels. And now we are going to do it with these Somali fraudsters. And Treasury has something called FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and we are coming in, tomorrow we are announcing that 4 investigations into money service businesses that we believe may have wired money out of the country, a lot of the ill-gotten, stolen money, over to the Middle East, over to Somalia. We'll see where that's going. So we're announcing investigations into 4 of those money service businesses.
That's all that matters. This whole thing, they were the reason why Tim Walz, and I've been breaking it down, Tim Walz was picked the first day he was in. How much was it? $35 million to Kamala and the campaign. This is all connected. And you know why he was pushing for people to get in front of ISIS face? So this would happen to deter everybody from looking at you on the problem, but you can't hide from the U.S.
Well, let me go to the story. Ilhan Omar urges public to film ICE. Chides agents who shot Renee Good for getting in front of a moving car. Okay, and Rob, I think you got a clip of this. Go ahead and play the clip. Watch this, folks.
I think it is really important for Americans to record, to create the level of accountability and transparency that we need. What we have seen in Minneapolis is ICE agents oftentimes jumping out of their cars. These are unmarked cars. Oftentimes they're wearing a mask. They're approaching, running towards cars. They're pulling people out of those cars. Oftentimes these people are citizens. Oftentimes these people have documentation of their legal right to be in this country. And we know that DHS has lied repeatedly when it comes to these accounts. So it is even more important for there to be recording from eyewitnesses every single time these actions are taken.
What is the story, Rob, with her and $1 million restaurant? What's going on with that story? Is this the one with page 8? Ilhan Omar advocated for funds for Somali-run addiction group, later discovered to be a restaurant. Is that the one we're talking about? Can you please play this, Rob? Watch this, folks.
Covered the other day, and one of our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic, which actually happened to be housed in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address, according to their IRS paperwork. Tons of red flags. So this is what we saw with the fraud involving the daycare centers. Now we see other earmarks coming directly from members of Congress where it seems fraud is being perpetrated as well. So I raised the issue, and fortunately, the House has now stripped that earmark out of that spending bill. But again, this is how easy money has been flowing to bad actors in Minnesota.
Tom, thoughts?
So first of all, let's, for people who maybe don't know, an earmark that she's talking about. Let's say, Vinny, you're going to do the Inflation Reduction Bill.
Oh, God.
Pick a hypothetical thing. Hey, Tom, I could really use your vote on the bill. Hey, Vinny, I could get behind your bill, but I'm not going to co-sponsor it. My district's a little neutral on the fence. No problem. Give me an earmark. An earmark is, I say, well, give me an earmark for $1 million for a substance abuse place in Minneapolis. And what there will be a list of earmarks that are on the back of the bill. This is why people say bills should be single purpose. Inflation Reduction Act, for inflation. North Carolina hurricane recovery should be only relief funds, only going to North Carolina, only going to first responders. Make sense?
Yep.
Instead, we found out the bills. Remember, we looked at the Biden bill, Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
Stuff was going to Ukraine. Stuff was going this way, that way. So what Omar did, she told somebody she would give, the usual typical thing is you tell somebody, you have my vote on the bill, but I need an earmark. What do you need? Here it is.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that conversation happened, but they happen every day in Washington. But what we do know is there was absolutely an earmark in that bill that Joni Ernst, I believe that was Joni Ernst, am I right, Rob? Who is now going on TV telling Varney, saying, we found an earmark in this bill for $1 million for a treatment center that was a small restaurant that wasn't even operating. So guess what? Another example of create a cause or create a program. The money went in there, and then God knows where it went. Did it go into Tim Walz's reelection fund? We don't know. Did it go offshore to Al-Shabaab? But what FinCEN, so financial crime network, that is... The Department of the Treasury is one of the toughest places to get an indictment. You do not want it. They used to do counterfeiters. That's how they got a lot of organized crime. And you've got Bessent saying, we're going to open up FinCEN on this because you have taken money from the U.S. government that went across state lines and across wires and go. So there's part of the answer. They're going to prosecute. They're going to find out where that $1 million went once it went to Minnesota. What little journey did it go on? However, earmarking is what Omar did. So she knew exactly who it was going to. And now she's got to look into the camera and say she had no idea that that was a fraudulent destination. She hasn't done that yet, but I wait for her. I want to see a microphone in her face. Oh, the $1 million earmark. Who was it to? Who did you know there? And did you know that it was a basically fictitious organization operating out of a restaurant? Did you know? I want to see her in front of congressional testimony. I want to see Tim Walz in front of a hearing. That's what I want to see.
Tom, and I hope, God, I hope it happens sooner than later, because Tom, the hardest thing for me as trying to be a really good Christian is, number one, praying for my enemies. That's so freaking hard. And then patience. I am one of the most impatient people. I ask for help every single day. And I sent Rob the chart. Like, the amount of people under Biden, Republicans that were arrested are insane. Okay? Everything from the president. Rob, how many people were on that list? Can you show that list of how many people were arrested? Besides the 1,265 January 6ers, there's like 63 people. Look at this list. From Donald Trump to Scott Hall, Sean Gruhl, David James. Look at all the arrests, and I get it. We're a little bit over a year in, but like that, when we talk about enemies, foreign and domestic, these are the domestic enemy that we're talking about. Besides the media, these people, these Ilhan Omar Somali group, let's just take one group in general. They were stealing taxpayer money, funneling it to Democratic campaigns, and then sending it to terrorists overseas. How is that? God rest that girl Renee's soul. Okay, tragedy. How is that not the number one thing that they're still talking about right now? And listen, Kash Patel, FBI, I don't give two craps about Chauncey Billups and him gambling. Put that to the side. These are the people that you have to go after. This is the major problem. This isn't $100 million. This isn't $500 million. This is $9 billion. That's what we care about. Okay, go after them. And the fact that they're spitting in the president's face and talking crap about ICE, go after them.
By the way, that's only round one. $9 billion is round one. This
Adam.
gets bigger.
Oh.
By the way, fully support everything you're saying. I'm not going to say it with as much emotion and volume, but let me give my my take. If I could summarize Ilhan Omar in one word, it's just ungrateful. So let me understand this to her and the Somali community, to my friends in Minneapolis. So you run away from a bad place, you come to a good place, and then you start complaining about the good place. So if America's so evil and white men are the root of all problem, why are you here? Why are you here? It reminds me of a story. You know, my personal issues with my family and dad. At one point, it got so bad that I had to run away from home, and I lived with one of my best friends' family, right? Took my boxes, showed up at my buddy's house. I'm living with him now. And I'm like, thank you for taking me in. And I started saying things like, he goes, yeah, we have dinner at 6 o'clock. I go, why do you do dinner? That's so early, dude. Like, why do you do dinner? And he goes, oh, let me go talk to my mom. And he comes back and he goes, yeah, I spoke to my mom and she said, you don't have to eat with us. You can go home if you'd like. And I go, oh, sorry. I'll be there at the 6 o'clock dinner. Because I realized I'm a guest in their house. I don't dictate the rules or tell them, I kind of think I'm a 7:30 dinner guy. I shut up and I went to dinner and I respected the rules and I had gratitude and I was so grateful that they took me in. He's still one of my best friends. I wish Ilhan Omar and these Somalis would change their tune and have a little gratitude for what America has done for them and their community.
But Adam, on the list of what you can call her, I think ungrateful is all the way down here. This is a U.S. Congresswoman who came here. That allegedly, all of her people in this town are freaking in a scam, in a fraud. They're stealing money. She allegedly married her brother to get him papers to come here. And then she's bashing the country. And to me, my opinion, calling for people to get in the face of these people to cause more problems. Ungrateful is definitely on the list,
It's
but
just
that's
a
down
distraction.
here. It's criminal what they're doing.
How about unindicted, unconscionable, unrestrained, unbelievable?
Way better. Way un-American.
Guys, what word would you use to describe Ilhan Omar? Put that in the chat.
That's a disgusting person.
I'd love to know what people have to say about her.
That's a disgusting person, and I wish she had Christ in her life, but she definitely is far, far from that.
PBD, can I here's what I've noticed. Jeez. Tear this apart. It seems to me a lot of times when people not born in America come to America, the ones that are so grateful to be here end up being Republican. Mm-hmm. And the ones that want to tear down America end up being Democrats. That's my speculation. Could be wrong. Do I have any validity here? What's your experience in this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anybody, I learned a long time ago when I would had guys that were renting from my office. So I had an office lease and other guys are renting from me. I had one of my guys who, you know, one of my good friends at the time would have been one of my best friends. And he's dating this girl. He wants to give a ring to this girl and do a balloon ride, whatever this thing was. He's like $3,500, hot air balloon ride, and propose to her. And he says to me, Pat, I can't pay rent this month. I said, so I got to pay rent? He says, yes. So I'm in this mode where it's like, man, but this is my friend. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should just, okay, no problem, no rent. Next month, guess what he comes and tells me?
Can't pay rent.
Can't pay this month. But I pay next month.
Yeah, hot air balloon, buddy.
So I'm like, okay. So then third month, fourth month, 8 months he doesn't pay rent. You know what happened? That time till today, that's the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Because I became the bad guy. And one of my mentors pulls me aside and he says, you will learn something about life, and this business will teach you a lot, especially when you're developing people in sales. Those who come to you who'll say things like, but I'm not getting any leads, but I'm not getting any appointments, but I'm not getting any this, but I'm not getting any that. Anybody that speaks that language is eventually going to turn against you. Yesterday at 8:30, I get a call from a guy, and the guy's like, hey, how you doing? 818. I'm like, who's this guy? So I pick up, I'm thinking it's one of my friends calling me. Yeah, you remember me. You remember me. I said, buddy, I don't know who you are. It's 8:30. I'm with the family. I'm trying to do my thing. Why are you calling me on a Sunday night? No, but let me tell you, you remember me because we were friends and this, that, and trust me. I'm like, okay. Got it. What can I help you? I just want to say, can I call you tomorrow? I said, no. Whatever you want to tell me, you got 1 minute right now, tell me. So he goes into saying, I'm a diehard fan. I love everything. And that I said, yeah. But what are you calling me for right now? I'm trying to buy these machines, and I need $50,000 tomorrow. Can you send it to me? I said, I stopped. I said, seriously, Sunday night, I've never spoken to you. I don't know who you are. You got my number from somebody. You're calling me to just give you $50,000. Then yesterday, another guy that you go back in the days, he sits with me and he says, I want you to buy this guy's wife is a lawyer. He's a homemaker. So he raises his kids. And his wife's a lawyer, a homemaker. She's a homemaker. And he sits me down and gives me the Zoom webinar. And he says, I want to buy the soccer equipment for my kid, and I want you to pay for it. I said, have you and your wife done any other GoFundMe? He says, no, I just wanted to come to you because the other day I was at Rafi's place, and these 3 Armenian kids were saying bad things about you. I think this would help if you buy this. I'm going to go tell everybody. I said,
nice.
so let me get this. But this is the same guy came to me 18 years ago for $5,000 to start a business.
Oh, man.
So I said, buddy, I was about to give you the $1,500 until you told me that you're going to go somehow help my reputation with 3 Armenian guys at Rafi's place that said this is a guy that made money and left Glendale, as if I need that. The moment you go there, you lose them. What's the point? Anyone in your life that bitches a lot and you do for them once, you have to do for them twice, 3 times, 4 times, and guess what happens? The moment you stop doing, you did good for them 73 times. That one time you say no, you're a permanent enemy to them. Jeez. They will go behind your back, tarnish your reputation with everybody, and that's the Democratic Party. That's the answer to your question. Those who want entitlement programs, you will never make them happy. Yep. Never make them happy. Reparations, we'll give you millions. We'll give you 10 million. You'll never be happy. You'll say, wasn't enough. I needed 20 million. You give them 20 million. Wasn't enough. I needed 40 million. 40 million. Wasn't enough. I needed 80 million. You will never, ever make this group of people happy. This isn't everybody, by the way. I'm not talking about, there's plenty of Democrats that are hardworking people that are Democrats because they're socially liberal. They are pro-abortion. They are pro-LGBT. You know, they are pro, I wouldn't even say LGBT. I would say LG. They are pro a lot of these other things, right? LGB. The T is, I think the T is getting exposed by both sides, by the way. So that's what I would tell you.
You know who agrees with you, by the way? I think I've heard Charles Barkley say something very similar about when he was giving money to his friends and family, and at one point he had to cut it off.
No way.
And he said the exact same thing. He says, I given you 10 times in a row. The 11th time I said no. I'm the bad guy now?
And it'll never stop. It's a basic rule. Don't lend. Don't lend. Give a tenth of what they ask for, if you're even willing to do it.
And then I heard you
I need
say
$5,000. I want to borrow $5,000. Here's $500, but you don't need to pay me back.
I've heard you say this before, and I've taken your advice because I've also been in a position where I've given people money or whatever. I say, whatever it is, this is the one time. There's no other time.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to pay me back, I've heard you say.
He calls me last night at 8:30 for $50,000. I don't even know who this guy is. I said, you calling me on a Sunday night? Yeah, because I need it by tomorrow. So this is a person I've never spoken to.
Who gave me your number?
Maybe I went to high school with this guy. He says, we went to high school together. Can you wire me $50,000?
And now
by the way,
urgency's on you.
Watch what he's going to do this week.
Oh.
Let me tell you,
Patrick.
all he cares about is this. Anyways.
You talked about it being like a 4-step process. It's, what was it? Appreciation ends up with expectation. There's like 4 steps.
Yeah, we've
Rob, is this the clip about Charles Barkley and giving money? We play this? Go ahead.
You can play that clip, yeah.
Start giving people money. They're never going to ask you for money one time. Right. But she said, the second thing is, no matter what you do for them, the first time you tell them no, they hate you. And I said, what? And I had to learn. People who I have been giving money to, the first time I told them no, they like, no, we're not friends anymore. Jeez. That was a tough and painful lesson for me.
Give Junior Bridgman some credit too. People don't know who that is.
Well, every time I see Junior, I say thank you because Magic is kind of taking over now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so let me tell you what it is, Tom. I'm glad you remind me of this. Here's how it goes. Give once, you'll elicit appreciation. Give twice, and you create anticipation. Give 3 times, and you create expectation. Give 4 times, and it becomes entitlement. Give 5 times, you have established dependency.
Jeez.
That is the Democratic Party.
Please put that into a tweet somewhere.
That is the Democratic Party.
That is so exactly
that's a great
what's
tweet.
That is the Democratic Party.
Yep.
So you give once to win elections, you have to keep doing it over and over and over again, or else you're not going to win those guys.
And they have you hostage at that
Yeah,
point.
they have to. Let me get to the next story. So J.D. Vance believes Grok's sexualized pictures on X are unacceptable, says Foreign Secretary, as Elon Musk decries fascist Britain and posts AI image of Starmer in a bikini. Okay, so now you know that's Elon Musk. He likes to do that. That's how he has his fun on how to get under people's skin. He's a rage-baiting machine is what he is.
I love it. I love
J.D.
it.
Vance believes manipulated images of women and children that are sexualized by Grok artificial chatbot are entirely unacceptable. Rob, do you have the J.D. Vance clip instead of this one, or is that the clip that we have of Keir Starmer?
This is Keir Starmer.
Okay, got it. Elon Musk believes the boss of X platform where images have been shared has accused the UK government of being fascist and trying to curb free speech. And this is the Keir Starmer responding. Go ahead, Rob.
Disgraceful. It's disgusting. And it's not to be tolerated. X has got to get a grip of this. And Ofcom have full support to take action in relation to this. This is wrong. It's unlawful. We're not going to tolerate it. I've asked for all options to be on the table. It's disgusting.
Okay, so let me tell you how it's working out right now. So here's Vinny in a picture, Rob, if you have it. Vinny, do you give us permission to use this?
I give you permission.
So this is Vinny.
Listen, okay, so guys, I was in my office, my green room.
This is how it works. This is Grok.
That's Grok. And then go to the next one.
This is Vinny, a regular picture.
Now, if you guys want to get your imagination, this is how I look like.
Yeah. But how do they know what your abs
By the
look
way,
like?
first of all, no. By the way,
You
I
got
don't
better
have
abs
that
than
little
that.
food. That's my abs.
That's you, buddy.
That's my abs. That's my chest. Those a little bit booby.
So this is so people
great.
can post a picture and say, put this in a bikini.
But can I be honest with you guys though?
Yeah.
That's pretty, because they doesn't know what I look like with my shirt off. That's kind of what I look like, meaning my legs, my calves. That's me.
Is that a tiger?
What you got
All
going
right,
on?
so let's
tiger
My abs
logo?
are weird though.
so let me go with this. So the question is, the question is, should this be allowed or should this not be allowed? Is this okay? Is this not okay? JD is against this. He's not for this, is what he's saying, right? He's saying this isn't good. We shouldn't be doing this. Do you think it's okay, Vinny, for them to be able to show the pictures any way they want when you make that ass with Grok?
But here's the thing. What's to stop? Because you can't, how are they going to do an AI company worldwide ban on taking any images and taking anybody? That to me is almost impossible, because people are going to find loopholes. They're going to do it. To me, that's funny. In the moment, it's funny. I was talking with Jake, when we first saw it, I was like Jake's face made me realize, while I'm laughing and it's me and I'm a comedian, I don't care. His initial face was like, whoa, that's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. But I think Pandora's box has already been opened. Are we going to go backwards? Are they going to ban and make that illegal? Because I know just with ChatGPT, there's certain prompts that you can avoid. I remember when ChatGPT first came out, Tom, there was a prompt that you just put it in, and it backed everything that you wanted from anything crazy, from anything violent. It gave it to you. I'm not, again, I'm a comedian. It doesn't bother me, but I could see how that could put somebody, especially in 3 to 5 years, which I think is going to be completely out of control. You're going to have to defend yourself to say that wasn't me. Because as we all know from the mainstream media, once it's put out there, good luck trying to take it back. They're going to take it and they're going to run with it. So if there's a way, I would say yes. Do it. Try to stop it. But I'm realistic knowing that in today's day and age, you try to shut this down, they're going to find loopholes to do it. I just hope that there's things that are being put in place right now to protect people, to verify immediately that that's not me. That's not a human. Meaning put a little thing on the bottom, or kind of like in printed time, you know how I do when I put a picture in a picture and says fake. Watermark, AI, right? Fake, a watermark. So That's what I feel.
Satire and memes are as old as 1776. They used to make political cartoons that would appear in newspapers making fun of King George. And then through the 70s and 80s, a guy named Pat Oliphant was one of the best artists that created the political satire. Now, this is before, 96, Netscape browser. Here we got the internet. So it's really what you said is true when you use the words this day and age. In this day and age, we have the ability to make it look too good.
Yes.
And so good that it can be deceptive. It's no longer a meme. It's no longer something hysterical. It's no longer something about your like a political comic in the newspaper. It looks too good so that it can be deceptive as to the reality of that person. Did that person really do that? Were they really there? Were they really cross-dressing in this case? That's the issue. And I think I disagree with the UK that doesn't want criticism of its political leaders, especially when they and Canada and Australia are out there saying maybe we should put state-controlled suppressants on X. And by the way, state-controlled suppressants is called selective censorship. But
that's the concern, Tom. To me, like I think what this is their tool. So imagine your daughter is tweeting. Somebody comes, she posts a picture. Somebody comes in and says, put her in a bikini. Are you okay with that? She's 19 years old.
Not at all.
Well, that's what X is doing.
It looks too good, so
that's what X is doing. Is that okay for it to have that?
No.
Who has a differing position with that?
No, I'm not comfortable with it at all. My question is this though: Grok can stop it, but I'm saying there's so many AI places out there. If you ask him to put somebody in a bikini, it's gonna do it. Unless there is a worldwide, every single AI has to put that algorithm or that type of prompt that's going to say no. But I don't know how difficult that's going to be.
I heard somebody talk once about this, Pat, and they said, many people saying, oh my gosh, all the divorces that will happen, all the people that will be arrested and charged with crimes, everyone's going to get, indicted. And you know what the argument was, Pat? No. The defense will be it's AI, and no one will get indicted.
Yeah.
And no one will be believed, and nothing will be believed, which is actually worse than an innocent man, one single innocent man. I wasn't at that party, which is an inconvenience. You go down the rail where the defense is, oh, that's AI. I was not there. That's AI. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. That's AI. And everybody goes,
but there's
maybe you're right.
No, but here's what's going to happen with that, Tom, because the great thing about capitalism and incentives being there, someone's going to create the Experian, what is it, TransUnion, and what's the other one, Equifax, that you get to check to credit them the credibility of that video. Like we go to Grok and say, hey, is this real? Is this fake? This is a deep fake. There's going to be people that's their job. All they do is check it. And it's easy for us to find out right there. So I think it's actually going to be a business model. My question is, do you have an argument why it should be okay to allow that to happen?
No.
You don't have an argument.
It needs to be validated or somehow watermarked.
I don't have. I think it has to be what Tom just said because you just made me think that. I think it's funny because I'm a comedian, but what's to have some perverted, pedophile, crazy guy take photos of underage girls and do that same exact thing?
So perfect. Let's go back and forth. I tell you, perfect. We're going to make those pictures only available for 18 and above.
How are you gonna make sure the people?
Everybody has to put up an ID when they open up the account.
But what if somebody's using somebody else's account? They're perverted and they grab somebody's account and they.
If we find that that's what it is, we'll shut down the account. I'm role playing with you. I'm not telling you these are the rules.
No, I'm with you. It's still.
Do you have another position?
Yeah, I do. I'm mostly okay with stuff like this. Why? Well, in America, we have free speech. If I complained every hate comment or mean tweet that I received, buddy, there'd be lawsuits left and right. That's not how America works. So there's free speech, there's hate speech, which is protected, and there's inciting violence.
Yeah.
Unless this is inciting violence, I don't know. By the way, J.D. Vance is probably the #1 person to be able to weigh in on this because you know who's more famous than J.D. Vance? Fake J.D. Vance that's trending on the internet everywhere. This dude right here. How many times have you seen this meme? By the way, he's going to be the first presidential candidate in 2028, more than likely, where his fake AI fat pimp avatar, this thing, is going to be trending more than anything. So JD's going to have to get ahead of this. By the way, the Supreme Court's at some point going to see this. However, we have to deal with misinformation, disinformation. The same can't be said about what's going on in the UK. UK has arrested more people than any other country
from online
for
comments.
online comments, just online comments. But by the way, what happens if we have zero tolerance for saying anything bad? Well, we remember what happened in Paris with Charlie Hebdo, when the radical Islamist says, you cannot draw a picture of Muhammad, we'll kill you. And you know what?
They
did.
killed him.
And they'll do that if you draw a picture of their prophet. So there's a slippery slope here. For the most part, I believe the internet, I believe in free speech. I don't know if I'm an absolutist, but without very few exceptions, I think you can be able to do what you want on the internet.
But is taking a photo of someone, let's just say, Adam, me and you are beefing online, you're across the pond or whatever. Is it free speech to take an image of you? Ready for this? Because this is where it becomes, Adam, law, and this is like indictments and getting arrested. I put you in a situation with an underage girl. Because like what we did was, me and somebody that works here, we were in a photo, and they put us both in it, and it was like, wait a minute. It looked so real, and it's only going to keep getting realer. Of
course.
I don't think this is a free speech issue. I think this is taking a person and putting them in a situation or putting them somewhere where they were clearly not doing it. So then what that creates is, Adam, ready for this? If somebody took that photo of me right now and put it on CNN, MSNBC, and said, look at what Vinny's wearing, let's say it was worth, by the time it's out there, it's over.
Too late. Yeah,
I have to prove that I didn't do it.
But by the way, with that body, if we can show that image again, that wouldn't be the worst thing for you to leak right there.
No, the problem.
However, aren't there libel and slander laws like around fake news? Like fake news, that if he says this is not me, this is fake.
By the way, how many lawsuits,
into this, right?
Rob, how many lawsuits does X have for deep fakes? How many people have sued X for deep fakes? I actually wonder if their compliance department's got thousands of lawsuits that are pending, or have they held themselves harmless? Yes, filed lawsuits. Does it show anything or no? Mena's deepfakes has also been challenged by 2 individuals, but is there like they got thousands of pending lawsuits? Go a little bit lower. There's no numbers, right? So, no.
Can I give you a different perspective
What's
real
that?
quick? Who do you think is more likely to do stuff like this? A 16-year-old boy or a 45-year-old man?
16-year-old boy.
16-year-old boy. They're having fun doing stupid stuff on the internet. Are you really going to go after every 16-year-old boy that does stupid things? That is a very slippery slope, because they're sitting on their computer, on their phone, at home.
Yeah.
This is funny. This is funny.
Well, let me ask a different question here. We were talking about this backstage, and I'm wondering what you would say, okay? We live in Florida. You'll go to a restaurant, and you will see a 65-year-old man with a 25-year-old girl, and you'll say, oh, wow, great to meet you. Your father is very, sharp. And she says, that's not my father. That's my husband. That's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you smile at first. You're like, that's funny. No, really, that's my husband. And then you say, well, great to meet you, Jackie and Mr. Jones, whatever you want to call it. Tom is in his early 60s, okay? If Tom was single, okay, and Tom makes pretty good money, if Tom is single, what age girl, if Tom walked in with, that he's dating, would you say, come on, man, it's a little weird? What would it be for you, Vinny?
To me, Tom, how old's your oldest?
Bailey's going to be 20.
If I saw Tom with a 20-year-old, I would.
So 20 is an issue.
20, 21, like, to me, because I know who he is. But if he walked in, it'd be
Forget Tom. Say it's a 63-year-old guy that's a friend of yours.
Yeah.
Who is successful, but maybe he's no longer married. What age girl he shows up with, would you say, bro, what are you doing?
Anything younger than 24, 25 years old.
Anything younger than 24, 25.
Let's say 25,
He's
which
65.
is still young. It's still young.
If he's 65, she's 25, what would you say?
25, I would question, what are you doing?
I love her.
What?
He says, he tells you, I love her.
I would say to him, and what does she love, Tom? Like, Tom, how
She
about
loves
the-
me for who I am. She likes my
And I would
jokes.
say, Tom, there's beautiful 40-year-olds. This person's 20.
They don't laugh at my jokes.
They're gonna laugh at your jokes.
Man, I'm telling you,
No,
I'm
no,
broke.
play it,
I'm
we'll play.
Tom.
Nobody's
But they don't
gonna
laugh
laugh.
at my
Let me tell you
jokes. I
something.
can't make
Tom,
40-year-olds
you
happy.
have a
This
Ferrari.
25-year-old thinks I'm a rock star.
Tom, you know why you rock star?
Why?
Tom, you have a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a big house. That's all you, and you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you're out there wearing these beautiful Stefano Ricci suits. You are balling, Tom. When
Yeah.
you walk into restaurants, you throw cash.
Vinny, I don't care. I love her.
Okay, no, Tom, she doesn't love you for you. She loves
How do
you
you?
for the.
You don't know that.
Tom,
you don't know what she tells
Tom,
me.
you seen Bill Belichick,
Do
Tom?
you know how good she's at texting?
Huh?
She's an
good at
incredible
texting?
texter.
How do you know it's not like her friends or somebody else?
No
texting?
way. I believe you can just sense it. It's real.
Tom.
So your problem is anything below 25.
25 is, I mean.
But if she's 26 and a day, you're fine.
No, I'm not really fine with
27 and 2 weeks.
How about this? 35 and up, I'd be like, okay, Tom, I get it. She's still young enough to walk around. Her hip's not going to break when Tom gets crazy because Tom's very physical.
So now, okay, all right.
If she's in her 20s.
Rob, what do you think? You're an outsider.
You have good hips.
What do you think, Rob? Where do you put yourself with this?
Under the age of 30.
It's
It
a
would
little
be
weird?
Yeah, I
What-
think 30 and above, because what else are you going to talk about? I don't know what issues you would have in common
What
with
if
a
she had a
28-year-old.
major in national security and poli-sci and she's 23 and she's brilliant? She had a 4.7 GPA. She just gets turned on by the big words Tom uses.
Nobody's going to know that when they see the optics. They're just going to see a man in his 30s and a very, very young girl. So even if they're very, very intelligent, I think the optics, you got to be 30,
This
30
is Florida
plus.
problems, by the
30
way. Okay, look, I don't even want to go to Adam. with
Adam,
this
forget
because
it.
Adam is. It's not even.
Adam?
Well, can I go? Tom, play on, Playboy.
I knew that
because,
was coming.
in my opinion, whatever age you are, the woman should not be less than 21 years of age, because you're going to probably go get a drink with the woman. To me, the equivalent thing here is, at what point do you start taxing wealth? Well, you know, if you make over $500,000, you should get taxed. All right, well, so I make 600,000. Well, you know, and it's always, what do you always say? Just the guy that always makes a little bit more than you. So there's a rule for this. It's in dating. They say the rule of thumb for dating is half your age plus 7. So if Tom is 60, let's say, half his age is
30
plus 7. 37 is where you should be. Now, by the way, this should be for a second marriage, not necessarily for a first, because the BizDoc babe's as hot as they come and as cool as they come. So don't think about doing anything stupid. However,
She's in the parking lot with a gun.
of course, with a gun, with a gun.
She's in the bushes.
I see people of
Where
all
is this foreman?
ages. Just when I thought that 16-year-old men, 60-year-old men, and 30-year-old women was a weird thing in Miami, then I went to Palm Beach, baby, and I started seeing 80-year-old men with 20-something-year-old women. So to me, there's no rule. Just understand one thing.
Yeah.
It's all transactional.
All right.
She's using you for money, and you're using her for her looks and sex appeal. And as long as that's clear, play ball.
Remember
How
Anna
about
Nicole
you,
Smith?
PBD?
Anna Nicole Smith was with that old guy. Remember how
88-year-old guy.
True love.
He was dying, bro. That guy, I think he
Yes.
died and came back to life.
Of course.
Whatever.
But when you set a cap on something, there's always going to be like, well,
I'm going to tell you
know,
this. It wasn't like this.
This.
Look how
Are you
happy he
kidding
is,
me?
though.
Wait,
He probably died right after this.
Do you remember the
He
movie
did.
Best in Show?
But then she
He
died
looks
shortly.
like one of the characters from Game of Thrones.
He looks like a White Walker.
Yeah.
Show?
He
We
looks
spend
like
a lot
White
of time
Walker, yeah.
talking or not talking.
Yeah, but you know what? The reason why the average person's listening to this saying, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Listen, we never talked about this in L.A. I don't remember this age gap in L.A.
No, hell no.
And by the way, we never saw this in Dallas. We saw some of it, but not this. The age gap in Palm Beach, the stuff you see here, they do not. You have to literally be careful. You see a guy dating a girl that could be his grandkid, but they're together, and I love her. I love her. You know, Jen and I went to dinner one time. I was telling you this. We went to this restaurant with the worst name in the world called Meat Factory.
Right.
And we go to this place, and I see this 28-year-old, 35-year-old guy sitting with this 85-year-old, 80-year-old lady. And Jen and I are having dinner. She's sitting here. I'm sitting. We're talking. And then all of a sudden, for 5 minutes, we're looking at each other. We're not talking. And you overhear. Have I told you this?
No.
Overhear. And she says, and by the way, Jen is not a person that pays attention. She's just locked in. She's not nosy. She says, I said, babe, did you hear what they just said? Did you hear it? Yeah. So this guy starts telling this, and I am looking to see, because we thought it was a grandma and grandson just going out. I'm like, what an awesome moment.
Yeah.
Grandma, grandson is going out, spend time. And then he starts saying to her, oh, I like the way you look when you play tennis today. So I'm like, there's no way grandson's going to talk like that to his grandma. He says, you don't even know what I'm going to do to you after dinner
No,
tonight.
he did not.
And we're sitting, you know when you're like, you're eating your foie gras, and then you're like, wait, what? And then you have to look. You're like, don't look. You're going to go like this. He's in late 20s, early 30s, telling an 80-year-old, you don't know what I'm going to do to you after this.
Oh, my God.
So it works both ways.
Yeah.
Because she was obviously a very poor woman, and he loved her.
Yeah,
Or
it's love.
she was a widow billionaire with a tennis instructor that gets paid $40,000 a month, $30,000 a month. Okay, it's a very different lifestyle, but
Must be good
both
at
can be
tennis.
true. So you're going to hear stories like
but
that.
you don't see it the majority of the time. Of course. It's girls that are like just
So,
lazy and don't want to work.
Before we
and
wrap up, and this leads into my CTA, Rob, if you want to pull up the form for anybody that lives in Palm Beach, widow above 80, that's very wealthy. Vinny is single, and Vinny is looking, and Vinny and I have this. We have some incredible. He will make you laugh.
85.
He will entertain you.
Trying to find Vinny a woman.
85 and older.
85 and older.
But
woman,
I'm talking
Palm Beach,
about
still
like
looking
she has
for-
to be in a country club. She has to be wealthy.
Yeah,
not rich.
with a
Very
life
wealthy.
expectancy.
Wow, that
of-
narrows it down.
Yeah.
By the way, and guess what? And just for the ladies that are out there, the 85s and older, our first day skydiving.
So check. So by the way, Rob, if you want to pull this up, please Minect Vinny.
Yes.
If you want to pull up his handle, here's Vinny's Minect.
Yep.
Minect him if you have any candidates that are looking 85 and up.
Good
Vinny's
hips.
interested.
Good hips.
And then for Tom,
Artificial hips.
just if you want to send Tom some love, and Adam, whatever kind of life advice you want
Wish
to give
me
him.
luck in my new relationship.
Anyways,
Can I give a one shout out real
I'll
quick?
help you
Go
with
ahead.
your
Real
business.
quick.
Let's just go back
So-
to that.
Speaking of dating, our friend Marcelo Hernandez.
Yeah.
He just who used to work here, a friend of ours, everything. He just came out with his Netflix special. There's one joke he says in the show that's exactly this. Whereas men and women date for different reasons, where men will be very critical if you bring around a girl. It's like, yo, bro, your girl, what's up with her forehead, bro? And he's like, well, you're bald, dude. What are you talking about? Whereas if a woman brings a guy around, she's like, this is my new boyfriend. And yeah, he's a frog. And he lives on a lily pad. That's where we date, blah, 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 blah. And the friends will be like, well, ribbit. Like, they'll completely understand that a woman is solving for a different thing than men. So women are, of course, going to go after guys with money who are
I
rich
got
and
you.
studs like Tom.
I got you. Okay.
Where men are solving for hotness and hopefully some inner beauty as well.
Listen, Marcelo is magical how gifted the guy is. So if you haven't seen it, especially you're telling me it's awesome, I got to go see it. I heard it's number 3. He is a guy that we all support. He's phenomenal at what he does. But I want to give a shout out to somebody before we wrap up. It'll be very fast. We should go to this restaurant here called Black Rock. I don't know, whatever it's called across the street.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it shuts down. There used to be a waitress that took care of us. Her name is Vera. And I'm like, man, this place shut down. So I call my realtor. I said, can you find out if they're selling the property? I wouldn't mind buying the property because it's close. It'd be a great property to buy. And they're like, no, you have to buy the whole shopping center. I'm not interested in being in the shopping center business. Anyways, 2 weeks later, sign goes up, Bradley's. I'm like, Bradley's?
What?
We like the menu for Black Rock. So then the other night, I say, Tico, you want to go have dinner? Yeah. So we go to our own table that we sit all the way in our side that we sit there. And I go in, and I'm reading the mission statement, and I see the hostess. I come up to the hostess. I'm looking around. And she's looking at me like, what is wrong with this guy? For like 20 seconds, I'm looking around. I said, is it still the same team or has the team changed? No, it's the same team. I look to my right. Vera runs up to me.
Yeah.
Give her a hug. She says, you guys want to send the same place? We go to the same place. I said, what the hell happened here? She says, well, my husband and I, we decided to start a restaurant called Bradley. I said, what's your husband's name? Brad.
Wow.
Brad and Vera.
Wow.
We ordered food, incredible bone and ribeye. The spinach dip, phenomenal.
Great.
She brought this one thing with honey on top of it. I could have a bucket of it right now. So great. By the time it was done, we met both of them. Just want to give a shout out to local small business owner Vera and Bradley. Brad,
Wow.
if you guys haven't gone, to support them here locally or in the Fort Lauderdale, greater Fort Lauderdale area, go eat at the Bradleys and tell them PBD sent you.
Nice.
She will treat you royally. They will treat you royally. Beautiful young couple. They've been together for 15 years. They've been together. Like literally, it's a very, very good love story. Young, early 30s, and quality people. I wish nothing but the best to this couple running the Bradley Fort Lauderdale restaurant. Go support them. Eat the food. Their menu is phenomenal, and their service is even better. Anyways, having said that, gang, great to be with you guys. We will do this again on Wednesday. God bless everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.